Qi Nanyou and her best friend were both green, and they went to a remote area to provide medical support. Just didn't expect them to come to the Great Qin, cure Emperor Qin Shi Huang, and spread modern medical skills, but unconsciously, the science and agriculture of the Great Qin had already developed rapidly. Note. Non-Lily. The two are just companions, helping each other. Chapter 1. I was green. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. You. Li Yufei cried uncontrollably and kept shouting the name of Qi Nanyou. What's going on? What's going on? Who bullied you? Listening to the sobbing sound coming from the microphone, Qi Nanyou grabbed her phone on her shoulder and quickly signed with one hand, feeling extremely anxious. Sign the document and hand it to the nurse next to you. Guiyang. Guiyang cheated. Li Yufei was very sad, she really liked Guiyang. How could it be? No, how do you know? Qi Nanyou couldn't believe it, but quickly calmed down. She was fine. After all, my best friend only has those strange things in her eyes, and her nerves are as thick as Amazon. How could she find out that her boyfriend has cheated? I saw it all, and he entered the hotel with a fox spirit in his arms. He even lied to me that he was at work. If it weren't for my last-minute shift today to give him a surprise, I wouldn't have known he had cheated. After that, Li Yufei had already gritted her teeth. Are you sure you read it correctly? Qi Nanyou opened the Bluetooth earphones, placed the phone on the table, and then neatly changed into surgical clothes, holding a bag ready to leave work. No. Guiyang and I have been together for 3 years, and I know him even when he turns into ashes. He dares to have an affair, and I'll see if I don't kill him. Click. It seems that something is broken. Don't worry, send me a spot and I'll come and take a look. Qi Nanyou knew her best friend, although she had some romantic brain. Once she found out that the other person betrayed her, she didn't know what she would do. I can't wait, he dares to betray me. Am I not good to him? He dares to use my money to support other women. Qi Nanyou thought of her best friend's temperament and knew that she had already gone crazy. She had lost her sanity and didn't know what would happen next. Of course, she is not worried about her best friend. She is worried about Guiyang. After all, her best friend has been practicing Sonda since childhood, and it is not cost-effective to put herself in it for the sake of being a scumbag. Don't worry, wait for me to come with you. If there are 2 people, it's easy for you to suffer losses if you go in alone. How about I call Zhang Tao together and have more people to help? Zhang Tao is the boyfriend of Qi Nanyou. They have been together for 2 years and are currently discussing getting married. As a doctor, I have relatively little time, and the marriage matters are mainly handled by Zhang Tao. Qi Nanyou feels quite sorry for her boyfriend. She has been working overtime crazily lately and wants to make time to spend more time with her boyfriend. No need to trouble Zhang Tao. I'm not afraid, Li Yufei paused for a moment and her voice suddenly became excited. No, I'm at XX Hotel. Come over quickly, I'll treat you to a good show. Li Yufei hung up the phone. Hello. Qi Nanyou listened to the busy voice on the phone, worried that Li Yufei might do something bad impulsively. She quickly ran to the side of the road and called a car, reporting the name of the hotel. Along the way, Qi Nanyou was thinking about whether to give Zhang Tao a call, and then he thought of Zhang Tao saying that there was an important meeting today. Zhang Tao recently compressed all his work together to get married. He must be very busy, so he won't disturb him anymore. Thinking of this, Qi Nanyou put down the phone in frustration. 10 minutes later. Qi Nanyou arrived at the entrance of the hotel and was about to enter when he was suddenly pulled into the nearby bushes. Qi Nanyou began to struggle frantically and was about to kick the opponent's lower plate. It's me. Don't talk. What's the matter, didn't you say you wanted to catch Guiyang? Why didn't you go in? Hearing the familiar smell of perfume and the familiar voice, Qin Nanyou stopped struggling and wanted to rush into the hotel again. Wait a moment. If Guiyang dares to betray me, he will bear the consequences of betraying me. What's so urgent? I'll invite you to watch a good show later. Li Yufei had already calmed down at this moment. Looking at Li Yufei, who had turned into a big flower face, Qin Nanyou didn't know what she was waiting for. In her opinion, it was not easy for Li Yufei to wait for her to come. Why wait? After Guiyang finished his job, he couldn't even get a handle on him. He turned around and coaxed him with some sweet words, and his love brain had to go back. What are you waiting for? If you don't hurry up and slap him two big mouths, Qin Nanyou felt a bit strange. Wait, you won't have a love brain attack. Please forgive Guiyang. What kind of person am I? I'm not a romantic brain now, I'm Li Yufei. I'm waiting for a few important people. Li Yufei pulled Qin Nanyou to sit on the grass. You, how could he treat me like this? I love him so much and have given so much. Stop and stop. If you want this, I'll go back. As Li Yufei, who looked like Xiangling's sister-in-law, appeared again, Qin Nanyou waved her hand repeatedly, interrupting her fragmented thoughts. Woo-woo. You don't love me. Woo-woo. Li Yufei was about to cry when Qin Nanyou manually turned off her microphone. Woo-woo. Li Yufei gestured to Qin Nanyou to let go with her eyes, and Qin Nanyou let go. He actually used my account when he opened the room. If it weren't for the hotel text message being sent to my phone, I wouldn't have known he had an affair. I only saw him holding a woman inside when I arrived here. The bushes next to her were torn down halfway by Li Yufei. Qin Nanyou silently calculated how much money to compensate. Are you sure? Can you be sure? They started gnawing at the hotel entrance, and that woman is not small yet. Li Yufei punched the ground, causing the soil on the ground to jump. He doesn't even want to use his own money when opening a room. He even used my account to book a hotel. How could he treat me like this? In Li Yufei's fragmented thoughts, Qin Nanyou finally figured out the whole story. A few days ago, Li Yufei wanted to have an engagement trip that she could leave at will. When booking tickets, she found that the ticket price on her fruit phone was several tens of yuan more expensive than her boyfriend's. Following the principle of saving money in the province, she logged into her account using Guiyang's phone. After buying the tickets, she forgot to return them. Today, I suddenly received a successful hotel reservation text message on my phone, thinking to my boyfriend that he is going to work. The sixth sense of femininity made the nerve-wracking woman realize something, so she switched shifts and followed the hotel address to find Guiyang, who happened to walk into the hotel with a beautiful woman in her arms. Here we go. Following the direction of Li Yufei's fingers, she saw a group of people rushing into the hotel in a fierce manner. Who are they? Guiyang's relatives. Guiyang's relatives. How did you let them come over? Qin Nanyou was a bit strange, although most of Guiyang's relatives were in the city, how could they appear here together? Humph, I said Guiyang bought a lottery ticket and won over 1 billion yuan. We don't know what to do, but we want to ask our elders to give us some advice. We sent them 2 photos and they came. Li Yufei said with some pride. They believe it. This is too easy to deceive. Qin Nanyou had some doubts. How could anyone believe such a simple lie? Who makes me lucky in my daily life? I usually win a lot, but the amount is relatively small. You forget, every time I buy a drink, I get another bottle, and Guiyang and his team know about these things. It's true that Li Yufei is very lucky. It's not an exaggeration to say she's the European emperor, so every time Guiyang buys a lottery ticket, he asks Li Yufei to write a number, ranging from 200 to tens of thousands. Let's go. Go see who dares to green my mother. If I don't pull out her hair one by one, my mother will have her surname. That bastard Guiyang, who eats and uses my mother's house, actually dares to greet my mother. Calm down. Qi Nanyou watched her go from sadness to anger, knowing that she and Guiyang could never be together again. Qi Nanyou carried her bag and followed her best friend's footsteps with peace of mind. The two of them arrived at the lobby, and Guiyang's relatives had already gathered around the front desk to inquire about Li Yufei and their room numbers. Fei, you're here. A woman in her 40s and 50s saw them and quickly ran up to embrace Li Yufei's arm, with a bright smile on her face. Fei, are you telling the truth? The others immediately surrounded Li Yufei and warmly pushed Qi Nanyou aside. Fei, you really hit it. Shoo. Li Yufei made a silent gesture on her lips, looking around with a sneaky expression, afraid of being overheard. When relatives saw Li Yufei's demeanor, they also knew that this issue should not be discussed here. They still knew the principle of not revealing wealth. I don't know either. That day, Guiyang bought a string of numbers that I mentioned, and I checked it. It was the same as today's first prize number. We were a bit scared, didn't know what to do, and couldn't believe it. You are all Guiyang's closest people, and I wanted to ask you to discuss what we should do. Is this a scammer? Li Yufei said cautiously, scanning the surroundings with her eyes, afraid of being heard by others. Yes, we are Guiyang's closest people. Yes, you young people don't understand anything. Don't easily trust others. Let us old folks come and check it out for you. It should be true, Fei. You're so lucky that you always win every time you buy a lottery ticket. This time, you finally won a big prize. You can completely trust us, we are your closest people. ... Relatives were chattering incessantly, and Qi Nanyou stood on the outskirts, looking at Li Yufei who was surrounded. These people were really stupid and greedy. Li Yufei's lies were so clumsy, but they brought in more than 20 people in a grand manner. I don't even think about it. If someone really wins a big prize, how could they be notified that they have to wear a headscarf when redeeming the prize? But if these relatives believe it, there may be some who don't, but what if they don't come, they won't get any benefits, and if they come, it's fake and there's no loss. Uncles, aunts, brothers, and sisters, let's go find Guiyang first, get the lottery tickets, and match a pair of numbers well, okay. Li Yufei interrupted everyone's discussion, annoyed by the commotion. Right, you're right. Dozens of people rushed to the front desk. Hello, please give me the room card for 502. Hello, may I ask if you have a reservation for a room? 502 has already been booked. The front desk lady showed her standard 8 teeth and looked at the group of sneaky people in front of her. Without the guest's permission, how could she give her room card to someone else, unless she didn't want to do it anymore? Li Yufei. Do you think 502 was reserved by Guiyang and Li Yufei? The last digit of the number is 9652, and we plan to hold a birthday surprise at the hotel. Li Yufei handed over her ID card. Since Guiyang can book a room with her own account, Li Yufei has confidence that she can go up. Moreover, Guiyang, that stingy man, is reluctant to find a better hotel when he opens a room. This kind of hotel may seem to check everything, but in fact, it's just a glance. Miss, please wait a moment, I'll help you check. The front desk lady took her ID card and checked her phone number on the computer. She found that the information that popped up was indeed Guiyang, and the phone number belonged to the lady in front of her. Hello, miss. This room is indeed opened by Mr. Guiyang, but the other person is not you. We need to verify with Mr. Guiyang, otherwise we cannot let you in. The phone number is mine. We're planning to celebrate another person's birthday in the room, and we want to give him a surprise. Didn't you reveal your information when you called? If you didn't have any surprises, I'll file a complaint against you. We've been preparing for this birthday party for a month now. How about you send a message to Guiyang? Li Yufei stopped the receptionist from trying to dial the phone. What the hell is this? How could we have customers on WeChat? They can only make internal phone calls. If we ruin these people's birthday surprises, will these people tear themselves apart, especially the group of people behind this beautiful woman, who are all staring at us? You need to hurry up. After you enter, you need Mr. Guiyangwa to give us a call at the front desk. The front desk lady hesitated for a while, but still gave Li Yufei the room card for room 502. Li Yufei held the room card and led more than 20 people into the elevator in a grand manner. Chapter 2. The Traitor is a Boyfriend. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The group arrived at the entrance of 502. Li Yufei gestured to Qi Nanyou, who nodded clearly. Qi Nanyou silently took out her phone and opened the live broadcast. Qi Nanyou usually popularizes some health knowledge online, with hundreds of thousands of fans across the network. As soon as he opened the live broadcast, thousands of people flooded into the live room. The title is, Helping My Best Friend Catch a Soft Rice Man. Nowadays, everyone loves to eat melons, especially those with peach color. It's not good enough for oneself, and good things need to be shared with friends. As a result, the popularity of the live broadcast room continued to rise, with over 20,000 people watching simultaneously in just a few minutes, and the number of viewers was still increasing. This is what they have just discussed. They should make the face of the scum man known to the public to avoid more sisters being victimized and let the scum man flow into the market and harm other girls. Li Yufei carefully opened the door with the room card, not wanting to disturb the dog couple. Guiyang's relatives couldn't wait anymore, so they pushed Li Yufei away and rushed in immediately. Yang, where are you? Yang, Aunt San has come to see you. Yang, my uncle used to treat you well, you. Guiyang, we grew up wearing a pair of pants. Long. Big. Relatives rushed in, but when they saw the scene on the bed, the sounds suddenly disappeared. Qi Nanyou placed his phone on the table, with the camera pointing towards the bed. After all, it was his best friend who had been turned green. Later, he had to help tear apart the scumbag. Holding the phone in his hand was not easy to play or live stream. Qi Nanyou was busy putting his phone away, but did not notice the unusual behavior of these relatives. Ah! What a big bed! Li Yufei's screams suddenly came from the crowd, and Qi Nanyou was taken aback. What a big bed, watching a TV drama. Everyone has curiosity, so Qi Nanyou quickly pushed aside the crowd and walked in. What's wrong? What's wrong? Ah! Seeing the scene on the bed clearly, Qi Nanyou let out a sharper cry than Li Yufei. What's going on? What's going on? I'll go, what did I see? Big brother, don't block me. If the blogger doesn't make a name for himself, he will be amazing. Today's live broadcast is about catching traitors. Hurry up. Hurry up. I want to see it. Don't stand in my way. Blogger, post a location and I'll come find help for you. I'm good at this kind of thing. The barrage rolled wildly. I saw two people lying naked on the bed. Despite being mentally prepared, seeing this scene made Qi Nanyou feel like his blood was rushing to the sky. The person lying in bed, besides Li Yufei's boyfriend Guiyang, was not a big beauty, but rather the fiancé AE of Qi Nanyou who claimed to be in a company meeting. Zhang Tao. Qi Nanyou instantly lost his ability to speak and act, and the person in bed was still immersed in a beautiful experience and did not notice someone opening the door. Upon hearing someone speaking, he was stunned for a few seconds, unsure of his reaction. It was Li Yufei's screams that made the two of them wake up. Ah! What are you doing? The two of them screamed wildly, quickly pulling up the crumpled blanket and desperately covering themselves. You bastard, my best friend's boyfriend, you also sleep. If you had said you liked men, you would have provoked me. I'll beat you to death, you bastard. Li Yufei was the first to react and jumped onto the bed, pulling at Guiyang's hair. She gave him a few big mouths and then frantically greeted him with her fists. When Zhang Tao saw his beloved being beaten, he didn't care about himself and quickly went to pull Li Yufei. "What are you doing? You shrew, don't touch my husband." As soon as his hand touched Li Yufei, he felt a chill in his back. He looked back and found his girlfriend standing behind him. There were too many people just now, and he didn't notice that his girlfriend was also here. "It's over." Qi Nanyou looked at this scene in disbelief, never expecting that one day the traitor would catch him and immediately run up to pull Zhang Tao. Pa, exhausted all his strength and slapped Zhang Tao a few times in the mouth. Wife. Why are you here? What you see is not real." Zhang Tao didn't even have time to put on his clothes, so he hurriedly came up to pull Qi Nanyou. "Roll away." Qi Nanyou shook off Zhang Tao and slapped him in the face again. Zhang Tao ignored the pain on his face and quickly got off the bed, knelt in front of Qi Nanyou, and arched his mouth from side to side. The relatives of the Guo family finally reacted to the applause of the two of them, looking at each other, neither pulling nor not pulling. Today's incident goes beyond their understanding, especially for some elderly people who cover their eyes and feel like they're watching, but they feel like their eyes are burning. Young people, on the other hand, eat melons seriously for fear of missing any details. "I'm going, the CPU is dry burning. What is the situation?" This is also quite explosive in the entire melon-eating world. What is the situation? Is there a class representative to summarize it? I'm here. The blogger is helping his best friend catch adultery, but the person her best friend's boyfriend cheated on was his own boyfriend. She loves him, he loves him, he loves her. I'm dizzy, it's such a complicated relationship. Sympathize with the blogger and their best friend for a second. Fiancé AE and best friend boyfriend are together. It's really disgusting. Even though I like same-sex people, I have to deceive girls. The number of people in the live broadcast room has now skyrocketed to 100,000, with barrage rolling wildly. Qi Nanyou had already calmed down at this moment. She grabbed Li Yufei, and Guiyang and Zhang Tao immediately retreated into the blanket. "Zhang Tao, the wedding has been cancelled. You really make me sick. Don't let me see you in the future. You and Guiyang should be locked up and not come out to waste others' money. I will never forgive the harm you have caused me today, just as my youth has fed my dog these past few years. Guiyang, you deceive first, cheat later, do nothing, rely solely on your girlfriend to support you. You introduced Zhang Tao to me and then slept with him. It's really shameless. You concealed your parents, deceived the girl into marrying you. People like you, don't appear in our world again." Qi Nanyou felt extremely disgusted. Zhang Tao was introduced to him by Guiyang, and they were college roommates. At that time, Guiyang said he knew the root and the bottom, and that Zhang Tao would take care of people and live a good life. He is also very busy with work, and the two of them get along quite well. Moreover, Zhang Tao was introduced to him by his best friend's boyfriend, and it seems that he is usually good to his best friend. As for things and groups, people and groups, Zhang Tao should also be good. However, I didn't expect that they are not good brothers and sisters, but good friends. Li Yufei also calmed down at this moment and stepped forward to pull down the blanket, revealing their faces. "Guiyang, we're done. Within 3 days, you can repay me the money I've spent on you for so many years. In addition, our engagement has been cancelled." Li Yufei didn't even want to look at the scumbag in front of her and turned to her relatives. "I'm sorry, everyone. As you can see, my engagement between Li Yufei and Guiyang has been cancelled. Guo's relatives, if you look at me and I look at you, I feel extremely embarrassed and a bit embarrassed. They are all blood relatives of Guiyang. Guiyang was caught by so many people for doing such a thing, and it's not easy to say anything more." They all bid farewell. But before they could go out, they were suddenly interrupted by a voice. "Yang." Yang. A mournful voice came in, and the level of sadness in that voice made some people think what was wrong with the yang in her mouth. A skinny old lady stumbled in, with one of the main characters on the bed. Guiyang's mother. Looking at the two people lying in bed, Guo's mother was stunned. She heard from her relatives that something was wrong with her family, so she hurriedly ran over without even having a chance to ask what had happened. At this moment, there were two naked people lying on the bed, with blue noses and swollen faces, unable to react for a moment. What was the relationship between this and her son? When Guiyang saw his mother, he quickly pulled the quilt over his head and shrank up to be a turtle. Guiyang, what are you hiding from? Hurry up and take your husband out to say hello to your mother. Let your mother meet her future son. Law. Li Yufei won't let him go. If she dares to deceive her, she must pay the price. Today, let Guiyang lose face and see how he will deceive other girls in the future. What are you saying? Guo's mother exclaimed in disbelief. What does the future daughter. Law say? What is the future son. Law? She quickly pulled over Li Yufei and said, Fei, what are you saying? You and Yang are about to get engaged, how can you slander Yang so much? How do you become a wife? Guo's mother raised her hand and pretended to hit Li Yufei. She did not allow others to slander her son like this. Her son should have good looks, a figure, and a degree. Even if her daughter. Law has a higher education than her son, she feels that Li Yufei is not worthy of her own son. Auntie, you heard me right. Your son has found a good son. Law for you. Congratulations. Prepare your dowry. Li Yufei grabbed Guo's mother's hand and said word by word. You're talking nonsense. You're talking nonsense. You're a slut, how dare you slander Yang. Guo's mother collapsed. She didn't dare to look at the bed, didn't want to believe it, and could only throw her anger at others, saying that she would lift her left hand and hit Li Yufei again. Auntie, is it slander? You can see for yourself. Li Yufei gave the old lady a push and pushed her onto the bed. I'm going, is it so exciting? Is this something I can watch without opening a membership? Mom has arrived, it seems that these two good brothers are hiding even their own mother. Upstairs, if his mother knew that, how could he cheat other girls to get married? All he wanted was to find a girl to deal with his parents, have a child, and then fly together with his boyfriend. This is so disgusting. Introducing your boyfriend to your girlfriend's best friend is quite explosive in the entire G circle. Little sister is right, scumbags and scumbags should be locked up and not come out to harm others. The barrage rolled wildly, and Nanyou walked to the table, picked up his phone, and without hesitation turned off the live broadcast. There were some things that came to an end, and how to deal with them next. Nanyou's mind was also very confused, and he couldn't clear his mind at this moment. Guo's mother fell onto the bed, she didn't believe it. Her son had a girlfriend and was about to get engaged. But the two people on the bed, she just walked in and saw that they were both men. How could that be? Surrounded by her own relatives, she didn't believe it, nor could she believe it was her excellent son. She is such a face-saving person who gave her son the best education since childhood, and that's how her son repaid her. As a teacher of education, it is impossible for her to have such a son. Guo's mother trembled as she tugged at the blanket, while the other party tightly held onto it. A strong anger suddenly rose in Guo's mother's heart, and she pulled down hard. The blanket was pulled off the two of them, and the person inside the blanket immediately covered their faces. Looking at the familiar hairstyle and body shape, Guo's mother suddenly fell to the ground and passed out. Sister-in-law. Auntie. Sister. Surrounding relatives saw the old lady faint and reacted, quickly going up to help Guo's mother. Mom. Guiyang saw his mother fainting and didn't care about anything. He quickly jumped out of bed to check on her condition. Nanyou looked at the old lady's situation, and the doctor's instinct made her want to rush over. Reason pulled her back. Guiyang is so disgusting. He ruined all their expectations for love and almost ruined himself. Why did he even go to help his mother? However, Qi Nanyou knew that Guo's mother was just in a state of impatience and her blood pressure was rising, so there was no life-threatening danger. Yu, don't worry about her. This was done by her son. Let's go. Li Yufei knew her best friend's temperament and didn't want to make her difficult. She planned to leave this land of trouble. Ambulance. Ambulance. The scene became even more chaotic for a moment. Chapter 3. Broken Love, No Need to Heal a Wound. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Soon there were only 3 people left in the room. Qi Nanyou, Li Yufei, and Zhang Tao. Yu. Zhang Tao had already put on his clothes and walked cautiously to Qi Nanyou. Qi Nanyou lifted his left hand and stopped Zhang Tao's unspoken words, typing quickly on his phone with one hand. Yu. Listen to me, it was Guiyang who seduced me. We're almost getting married, can you forgive me? I promise, I'll never see Guiyang again. What are you doing? Zhang Tao hurriedly explained to Qi Nanyou that he knew his girlfriend's temperament was that he could say anything when in love. Once he found something wrong, he would immediately leave. They are finally getting married, and there should be no accidents at this time, otherwise their parents will still be furious. But when he saw Qi Nanyou's phone interface, he immediately became anxious. It was his family group, and at that time, in order to discuss the wedding, he pulled Qi Nanyou in. Zhang Tao had a fierce expression on his face and reached out to grab Qi Nanyou's phone. Li Yufei immediately ran up and blocked the way between the two. What are you doing? Let go of your dirty hands. Ding dong. Ding dong. The WeChat prompt sounded several times, and Zhang Tao trembled as he took out his phone and opened the WeChat interface. Ladies and gentlemen, due to the groom's reasons, the wedding on October 1st has been cancelled. If you have any questions, the groom will explain to you. As soon as Qi Nanyou's message was sent out, several relatives asked what was going on. Crazy at Zhang Tao and Qi Nanyou, but Qi Nanyou didn't respond and left the group after sending the message. Qi Nanyou slapped Zhang Tao's face. Zhang Tao, get out of here. After speaking, he pulled Li Yufei and walked out. Pooh! Scumbag! Li Yufei spat and walked away holding hands with Qi Nanyou. Zhang Tao ignored the pain on his face and did not immediately catch up. Looking at the news in the group, his eyes instantly darkened. He is an extremely face-saving person, how can he be divorced? No, we can't let this woman ruin herself. He gritted his teeth and came up with an idea. His fingers quickly typed on the phone interface. Dear friends and family, I'm sorry to bother you all. Yu and I have indeed encountered some problems recently. It's because I'm not good enough. I don't have that person who has money and power, but I really love her. I shouldn't confront her, make Yu angry, and make her cancel our wedding ceremony in a fit of anger. I apologize to everyone here, and I believe Yu will eventually understand my goodness. She will definitely abandon that old man and come back to marry me. By the way, let's say that Qi Nanyou cheated. This not only saves face, but also establishes a deep emotional character. With his conditions, if he finds another partner to have a son in the future, there won't be too much problem, and he can continue to be with Guiyang. I'm just a bit unwilling. Qi Nanyou, this talented student, must have given birth to a very smart child. It's a pity, she almost succeeded. As soon as Zhang Tao finished clicking on send, the phone rang. Seeing that it was his mother, he immediately felt aggrieved. Mom. As soon as he connected, Zhang Tao's eyes turned red and his voice was also very aggrieved, as if he had really been turned green. Son, what's going on? I heard your brother say that your wedding was cancelled, or was it cancelled by Yu? How could you suddenly cancel your wedding? I called her but she didn't answer. How did you provoke her? My relatives and friends have informed me, the hotel has been booked, and the money has been spent. How could she suddenly cancel your wedding? I tell you, I don't agree with this matter. You must get married that day, and it's okay if you leave afterwards. We must get married that day, otherwise where will our faces be? Zhang's mother clattered a lot, and there was only one thing at the center. The wedding must be held. Even if it means getting divorced later, Zhang's mother knows very well that her son's diploma is not high, and he doesn't have a good job after graduation. It's not a matter of whether he's high or low. I finally found a doctor's girlfriend, a doctoral student with a high salary, stable job, beautiful appearance, and a local background. If my son marries her, my family can move from that small border town to this big city and settle down, becoming a good person. Mom, Qi Nanyou had an affair. She ran away with someone else and she didn't want me anymore. She said she didn't want to marry me anymore. Zhang Tao has now calmed down. Since Qi Nanyou wants to cancel the wedding, let him take advantage of it. Otherwise, he really can't explain to his parents. Qi Nanyou, if you toast without eating, you will be punished. If you are ruthless, don't blame me for being unjust. You infidelity woman must have an old man by your side. Otherwise, how could you not listen to my explanation? Today's event must have been designed by you. The more Zhang Tao thinks, the more angry he becomes, and the more he thinks, the more he feels justified. What? Qi Nanyou cheated. That shameless little slut, you don't have to bully people like that. I'll go to the hospital right away to argue with her. If she doesn't give an explanation, I'll make her unable to even work. Lao Zhang. Lao Zhang, what's wrong with you? Zhang's mother was angry. This kind of woman who doesn't follow the rules of women is not worthy of entering her house. Her son is so excellent that if he could find someone like Qi Nanyou, he would be able to find a better one, preferably an only child, a daughter of a millionaire, not a billionaire, and thus reach the pinnacle of his life. But Qi Nanyou, don't think it's easy either. She wants to make it impossible for Qi Nanyou to work in this hospital. Let's see what she's doing to get arrogant with her. Dad. Dad. What's wrong with you? Suddenly, from the microphone came the shout of Zhang Tao's younger brother, followed by a series of ping-pong sounds. Mom. Mom. What's wrong? Zhang Tao didn't know what was happening across from him, so he had to be anxious here and yelled at his phone for a while before realizing that it had been hung up. Without much time to think, he picked up his coat and hurriedly ran out, calling his mother and brother while running, but no one answered the phone. Zhang Tao stood in front of the elevator, waiting for the elevator. When he saw the 99 plus WeChat messages on his phone interface, his mouth curved slightly. Qi Nanyou, wait for your reputation to crumble. He eagerly opened WeChat and clicked on the 99 plus icon on the right. Starting from the top, he wanted to see how his relatives insulted Qi Nanyou. At first, seeing everyone in the group cursing Qi Nanyou and sympathizing with him, Zhang Tao felt proud. As he flipped down, he noticed someone below starting to scold him. He became anxious and quickly slid down, all cursing him and saying he was disgusting. What's going on? He swiped up again and found a video link. He didn't pay attention just now, and it was only after this video that everyone scolded him. He thought it was a dynamic emoji. Is it? Zhang Tao quickly opened the video and found that the content of the video was what had just happened. He and Guiyang appeared naked in the video. Zhang Tao instantly felt a darkness before his eyes and immediately collapsed on the ground. It's over, it's all over. Speaking of Qi Nanyou and Li Yufei's side. The two of them left the hotel and walked silently on the street. Neither of them spoke, not knowing how long they had been walking on the road until they were both tired and found a bench to sit down on. You, what are your plans for the future? Have you really decided not to get married? Finally, Li Yufei couldn't help but ask first. Qi Nanyou didn't respond, just stared steadily ahead. Li Yufei lightly touched Qi Nanyou, feeling a bit uneasy. 2 hours ago, when she found out that her boyfriend had cheated, she felt that her sky had collapsed and that life was meaningless. She wanted to find Qi Nanyou to comfort her. But when she saw that she was not losing to a woman, but to a man, Li Yufei felt relieved. It wasn't that she was not good enough, it was just that the other person didn't like women. But Qi Nanyou is different. She is dating for the first time, and this partner was introduced by herself and her ex-boyfriend. She is about to get married, and being deceived so miserably can cause everyone to collapse. I'm really damn it. What kind of red thread are you blindly pulling? I wish I could give myself 2 mouths. At this moment, Li Yufei's heart is so regretful. Yes. What do you mean by being alive? Li Yufei was about to apologize when she was interrupted by Qi Nanyou. She knew what Li Yufei wanted to say, but it was not Li Yufei's fault. The fault is that she trusts others easily, and the fault is that she only focuses on work and doesn't notice Zhang Tao's abnormality. Fei Fei is not wrong and doesn't need to apologize. Don't take it too hard, it's hard to find a 3-legged toad. There are too many men with 2 legs. Don't take it too hard, I will work hard to make money and make 10 male models for you. No, 100. Li Yufei was particularly anxious, afraid that her best friend would be harmed and did extreme things. Losing a best friend for a scumbag is not worth it. Poochie. Qi Nanyou looked at Li Yufei's anxious expression and couldn't help but laugh, no longer teasing her. What are you thinking? I didn't want to have a suicide, it's not worth it. I'm a doctor, and I know how precious life is. I'm just thinking that my life has been too smooth. From birth to studying to work, everything has been very smooth. The people around me have come and gone, and I haven't experienced any storms or waves. I want to do something meaningful to make my life without regrets. Don't scare me. Li Yufei became even more anxious, with a crying tone in her voice. What should my best friend who regards work as life suddenly seek the meaning of life? It's quite urgent. Don't worry, I've been thinking about this for a long time. Our hospital has a medical support program that lasts for 3 years. I really wanted to participate before, but at that time, I didn't sign up for Zhang Tao and his marriage. Now. That's it. No. Those places are too poor. We won't see each other in 3 years when you go there, and uncle and aunt won't agree. You can't go. Li Yufei hugged Qi Nanyou's arm. Although she is not familiar with the field of medicine, she also does not know what the situation of supporting doctors is. But what needs medical support are some remote areas, all in the mountains. She has watched TV and some places don't even have electricity. You went there, but she didn't agree on how to contact her. No, my parents were already traveling around the world and are planning to come back to attend my wedding. If this happens now, I will tell them all the reasons and consequences, and they will agree. Looking at the pedestrians coming and going on the street and the constant flow of vehicles, Qi Nanyou cut her hair in front of her forehead. How could they possibly agree? This is not the first time I've been to a hospital, Fei Fei. I hope you can support me. Li Yufei looked at her best friend's firm gaze and couldn't speak for an instant. It seems that I was really hurt to make such a hasty decision, my best friend. Ultimately, he was ruined by the scumbag, who introduced himself. It's all my fault for being blind. Not only did it make me lose love, but it also made me lose friendship. Don't be like this, I've been heartbroken. Let me heal my wounds. Chapter 4. Thought about being poor, but didn't expect to be so poor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After deciding to participate in the hospital's medical support plan, Qi Nanyou began to prepare, ignoring the sympathetic or mocking gazes from hospital colleagues. Qi Nanyou started handing over his work, keeping himself busy in not paying attention to the eyes of others. During this period, the video of raping that day also made several hot searches, with explosive content and high online discussion. Hashtag my best friend's boyfriend is my boyfriend hashtag same wife hashtag help your best friend catch a traitor and catch yourself on the head hashtag green hashtag sisters is lovelorn at the same time hashtag how to distinguish whether one is being married together hashtag does live streaming of rape infringe on the privacy of others hashtag people online are fiercely discussing this matter. And as the protagonists of the incident, Qi Nanyou and Li Yufei have recently received numerous private messages. Most people sympathize with them, while a few feel that it is inappropriate for the two to post someone else's privacy online. But no matter how the netizens discussed it, neither of them responded and there was no need to respond. During this period, Zhang Tao and his family also made countless phone calls and sent countless text messages to Qi Nanyou. However, Qi Nanyou didn't want to answer and blocked everyone. He went to the hospital to block people, was kicked out by the hospital security, or was surrounded by other patients. Yes, they got angry, and everyone in the city knew him, like a street mouse. Everyone shouted and dared not go out. The hospital where Qi Nanyou is located connects with D province, and the entire hospital sends 15 doctors and nurses to support the medical industry in the 15 most remote areas of D province, with a service period of 3 years. Qi Nanyou was assigned to a place called Laomozai. She searched online but couldn't find this place. She also searched for other remote areas in D province, and most of the pictures she came up with were of mountains, dilapidated houses, dressed in gorgeous costumes, and with a bright smile on her face. It seems that the place she is going to is really poor. There is no information on the internet, so she needs to prepare more things. Qi Nanyou searched for a lot of information online, and some people said that some places in D province are very poor, some villages have unstable electricity, some places are still hunting, eating raw food, and even riding horses when going out. After a week of preparation, Qi Nanyou embarked on a journey to D province. Qi Nanyou carried 2 suitcases, with a large backpack hanging from them and a black travel bag beside him. She sat in the waiting room waiting for the flight to take off, flipping through a medical book in her hand. Suddenly, it turned dark in front of me, and a pair of warm hands covered my eyes. "Guess who I am?" A crisp female voice came from above, and Qi Nanyou trembled all over as she took off her hand from her face. "Why did you come?" Qi Nanyou's voice was a bit choked up. "Of course I can't bear to part with you." Excitedly, the visitor bumped into Qi Nanyou's eyes, dragging 2 suitcases in their hands. "Fei, you. Like you, I also have to do something meaningful. Don't think of running away alone." Qi Nanyou looked at Li Yufei and her eyes instantly turned red. "Fei, I'm fine, you don't need to. It's not just to accompany you. I also want to teach children and help them get out of the mountains, so that they can have a different life." "But what about your research?" Li Yufei is a researcher at a private research institute, and Qi Nanyou doesn't know exactly what she does. She always says she needs to keep it confidential, but it should be very important. "Hi, I resigned. Our research is the same as mine, whether it's me or not. I work on new energy research, and I just do odd jobs there. I don't have access to core information, and I've been working on it for several years without any progress. I can't find any investment, and it's almost going bankrupt." Li Yufei said without hesitation, seemingly casual and indifferent. Qi Nanyou stepped forward and hugged Li Yufei, interrupting her words. She knew that Li Yufei couldn't bear to part with her, she knew that Li Yufei did not necessarily have to resign, she knew that Li Yufei was just there to accompany her. "All right. We need to stay good for just 3 years. Li Yufei gently patted Qi Nanyou's back, saying that it was not sad or fake. Nowadays, news about the 4 of them is everywhere online. Whether they sympathize or ridicule, she can't resist it. Perhaps leaving is the best choice. "Fei, thank you. Qi Nanyou held Li Yufei tightly. Thank you, I also want to contribute to the education cause of our country. What's wrong? You're worried that as a 985 college student, I won't be able to teach those children. Li Yufei pushed aside Qi Nanyou and said slightly mischievously, breaking the sad atmosphere between the two. It's possible, there's nothing that our little genius Feifei can't do. However, the place I'm going to is very poor, and I can't find any information online, Qi Nanyou hesitated a bit. Her best friend had never suffered much since childhood, nor had she left S City. She went to Laomozai with her, fearing that she would be wronged. Alas, don't bring me along. Who said I can't endure hardship? I was born in Rome and I also want the children in the mountains to have a straighter and faster path to Rome. Li Yufei quickly interrupted Qi Nanyou's chatter, wondering why everyone felt they couldn't endure hardship. She has been grinding her parents for several days, even resorting to hunger strikes to protest, which was only when her parents agreed. As long as you were born in Rome, you were born to be like a cow or a horse. Every day at 9 p.m., or 007, return to Rome. Qi Nanyou joked about Li Yufei. Li Yufei's family is middle-class, with 2 companies at home. They usually have to go home and inherit the family business if they don't do well. Growing up like a little princess, she can indeed be considered born in Rome, but her grandfather took her up and down the village from a young age, so she didn't have the airs of a young lady. Hi. What's there? Isn't that a better reflection of my ability to endure hardship? Do your parents agree? Li Yufei's parents have been treating her like eyeballs since childhood, how could they possibly agree to let her go to such a remote place? My parents travel and adventure outside for 360 days out of 365 days a year, rarely seen a few times a year, and the parent-child relationship is particularly indifferent. From childhood to adulthood, she has become accustomed to it, but Li Yufei is different. I don't agree. I've been on a hunger strike for several days now, and with my brother and sister's persuasion, I even said I went with you, so they agreed to let me go. You. Qi Nanyou doted and poked Li Yufei's head. The two successfully boarded the plane and embarked on a flight to D province. After 4 hours of flight, they finally arrived at the provincial capital of D province, and just got off the plane and boarded the high-speed train to H City. Laomozai is a village located in M Township, Y County, H City. Qi Nanyou had planned the route early on, and there is no extra information about Laomozai online, so you can only follow the map. After taking the high-speed train for 3 hours, the two of them spent a day repairing in H City, and the next day they took a bus to Y County. After 2.5 hours of galloping on the mountain road, I finally arrived at Y County, and then took a small bus from the bus station to M Township. The two of them sat in the car until they felt sore all over. The small car walked on the rugged mountain road for 2 hours before suddenly stopping. Li Yufei, who was sleeping soundly, opened her eyes. What's going on? Have we arrived yet? Girl, why don't you take this road for classes too often? There's no class in the car over there, so we can only get to this point. Get off. The driver of the small bus, speaking a dialect, got off the car and opened the trunk, lifting the suitcases of the two people. Qi Nanyou could barely understand a few words, then looked at the place pointed by the driver and understood that the car couldn't get there, so it seemed like he had to walk. Not yet, Feifei woke up. We need to get off the car. Qi Nanyou pushed Li Yufei and pulled her out of the car. Miss, keep walking up this road, passing through a cave, and you'll see how old you are. The driver was particularly enthusiastic and pointed out a way for the two of them. He immediately jumped onto the car and continued to see the others off. The two stood on the roadside and looked at the mountain road in front of them, then at the 4 suitcases next to them. I really want to lose all these things now. The two of them enjoyed the beautiful scenery on the roadside, adding some energy. The two of them exchanged a glance, gritted their teeth, grabbed a suitcase with one hand, and stepped onto a muddy road. After more than an hour of trek, the two finally arrived at the cave mentioned by the driver. But looking at the two caves in front of me, which one is it? The driver didn't even mention that there are two caves on top of this. What should we do? Which cave should we go to? I can't walk anymore. Qi Nanyou carefully examined the two caves in front of him. The cave on the left was 2 meters wide and relatively flat. There is a pond inside the cave on the right, and there is a stone step road next to it. The people inside will always come out. It's not that there is no road in the world. With more people walking, it becomes a road, the one on the left. Qi Nanyou decisively chose the left, which should be the path for the people of Liamazai to travel. Is it reliable? Your method is not scientific, it's up to me. Li Yufei put down her bow and pointed to the cave with her finger. Some beans, I'll choose whoever you click on. It's also on the left, go. Li Yufei pulled the bow and walked towards the left. My unscientific, are you just scientific now? Qi Nanyou followed up with a gift box. The driver said they will reach Liamozai after passing through the cave, and finally they are almost there. The two of them had just left and a small boat was rowed out of the cave on the right, with 2 people sitting on the boat. Village chief, the township chief said that the doctor and the old man who came from the city today have arrived at this point. Did you see anyone? Is it still too late? The young man who was propping the boat looked outside the cave entrance and was puzzled. Calculating their departure time, it should be time. They were delayed because something happened in the village and thought it would make the guests wait for a long time, but they haven't arrived yet. Kuo Neng, what happened on the road? Let's wait a bit. The village chief took out a dry cigarette, lit it, and stuffed it into his mouth to smoke. This time, 2 college students were sent from the village, one is a doctor and the other is a teacher. It's been a long time since Lao Maozhai came to college, otherwise he would have run away in just a few days. 2 people came this time, and there was also a doctor who was highly valued by the village chief. They only have barefoot doctors in their village, and it is not convenient to go out of the village due to serious illnesses. This time, he arranged 2 for their village. He wanted the hospitality to be more thoughtful and hoped that these 2 college students could stay longer so that it wouldn't be so difficult for the girl to have children. 2 people are waiting at the entrance of the cave. When it was getting dark and there were no 2 people to see, I called the township head and he said he had already set off. I called the driver and they said they had already gotten off the car. Based on the estimated time, they should have received it when they came out to pick it up. The 2 girls couldn't get through on the phone, and they searched along the mountain road twice, but didn't see either of them. Village chief, what's up? 2 girls might have gone astray. The young man was a bit anxious. This is a deep mountain forest, and what should 2 girls do if they have an accident here? I don't think so. There's only one road here, and no one has walked on either side. There are a few marks on the wheels on the road, so I'm afraid they might have come up. How can I see people? No one left. I'm afraid I'll go back and dislike our place for being poor, otherwise I wouldn't see anyone. Sigh, it's our fault for not repairing the road. It's our fault for being too poor to retain talent. The village chief took a strong puff of dry smoke and prepared to go back first, and then let the people in the village come out to search tomorrow. Chapter 5. This village is quite trendy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Speaking of Qi Nanyou's side, the 2 of them walked straight along the cave, passing through a section of dark cave, and finally saw a glimmer of light. After walking along the light for a while, they finally saw the entrance. The 2 of them arrived at the cave entrance and placed their luggage on the ground. Wow! My goodness! The 2 of them stared blankly at the scene before them, looking as if they had never seen the world before. It's really beautiful. The 2 of them stood halfway up the mountain, looking out at a beautiful valley. The mountains on both sides were continuous, and in the middle of the valley was a clear and bottomless small river. The sunlight shone directly, and the river surface was sparkling, which was very dazzling. What's even more eye-catching is the sea of flowers scattered all over the mountains, with colorful wildflowers stretching for miles, making people dizzy. On the left is a large bamboo forest, with a gentle breeze blowing and a green wave swaying in the wind. On the right is a dense forest, where bird songs can be heard. You didn't tell me this place is so beautiful. Li Yufei took a deep breath and opened her hands to bask in the sunshine. If I had known it was so beautiful, I would have come long ago. If I die in the future, you will bury me here and I won't go anywhere. Li Yufei hugged Qi Nanyou and arched his face over her body. Qi Nanyou was also surprised. She didn't expect such a treasure trove to be hidden in the mountains. It's completely a treasure trove. In theory, such a beautiful place wouldn't be without a single photo. If people outside knew about such a beautiful place, they would definitely come to take photos and check in. With more tourists, this place has also developed. It seems that in addition to seeking medical treatment, one can also shoot short videos to promote and publicize this place, making the people here wealthy and more people walking out of the mountains. Come on, take 2 photos of me. I want to post them on my social media. Li Yufei had already taken out her phone and started taking selfies. Unable to satisfy herself, she pulled Qi Nanyou to take photos of her. Qi Nanyou reluctantly took the phone and took a few good photos of her. Qi Nanyou took out a bottle of water from his bag and handed it to Li Yufei. However, Li Yufei was busy editing pictures and posting them on her social media, but did not receive any water. Qi Nanyou collected the water and looked at the scenery in front of him. The driver said she could see Laomozai by passing through the cave, but she looked for a while and didn't see the village. Will the village be in the woods? It seems like we can go down and look for it. It's strange, I can't send it out. What can't be sent out? Qi Nanyou walked up to Li Yufei. WeChat moments. I can't post for a long time. Li Yufei shook her phone and didn't react at all, looking at the 4 blank white lines. I'm going, there's no signal at all. Qi Nanyou took out his phone and found that there was really no signal. It seems that this place is really not ordinary backwardness. It should be because we are on the mountain, and now we can only see if there are any signals in the village. Where is the village? Didn't the driver just mention the cave and you can see the village? I didn't see it either. Did you see it? No, let's go down and take a look. The 2 of them picked up their suitcases and were preparing to find their way down. Bold. Who are you? Do you know that trespassing in a forbidden area is a capital offense? A loud shout came, and both of them shook and loosened their hands. Li Yufei's phone fell to the ground. Who is that? Scare the old lady. People are scary, scared to death. I don't know. Li Yufei quickly went to pick up her phone. The phone was half of her life, so she couldn't break it. If she falls and breaks it, it will make her life difficult for her. Can anyone believe it or not? Upon hearing this, Qi Nanyou took a step forward and stood in front of Li Yufei, vigilantly looking at the group of people in black in front of him. I saw everyone holding weapons in their hands, wearing a completely black uniform, wearing a black veil on their head, with a wide waist and narrow hips, perfectly inverted triangle. Oh, my goodness. Who is this? He's all black. Don't be afraid, I'll protect you. Li Yufei checked her phone and found no problems. She looked up and saw several people with black images around her, emitting a dangerous aura. Without much time to think, Li Yufei stood up and charged in front of Qi Nanyou. Step back. A majestic voice came, and as soon as the words fell, the black-clothed man in front of him immediately retreated to the sides. Qi Nanyou and Li Yufei followed the sound and saw a tall middle-aged man leading a few people out. The middle-aged man is nearly 2 meters tall, with a majestic body and a dignified appearance. The green silk is like ink, the sword eyebrows are starry, and the facial features are handsome. Under the sword eyebrows, which are neither thick nor light, the narrow and long eyes are like murmuring spring water, warm and moist like a spring breeze, but if hidden, it reveals a hint of coldness. Well, this person is sub-healthy. Qi Nanyou looked at the middle-aged man's face and concluded that he should have a chronic disease. Why are these people wearing hanfu? Both sides remained silent and looked at each other. Wow, so handsome. So handsome. How could there be such a handsome middle-aged man? There's no saying online that a man from a minority ethnic group is so handsome. If we take this person out, how many people will he become their dream lover? After seeing the appearance of the newcomer clearly, Li Yufei went crazy. She is a beauty control, otherwise she wouldn't have found Guiyang's useless little white face and kept spending money on him because Guiyang has a handsome face. Calm down. You forgot about Guiyang. Qi Nanyou grabbed Li Yufei, who was about to pounce. This best friend would lose her sanity when she saw the handsome guy. It was really embarrassing. Cut, that scumbag, don't talk to me about him. I've changed my direction now. Little fresh meat is too immature, and I'm planning to find an uncle. This uncle's appearance is my food. Don't compete with me. Who snatched it from you? You forgot what we're doing here. According to the driver's instructions, this should be Laomozai. They should be villagers of Laomozai, and they must have gotten married. My son may be the same age as you. Oh my, you want to be their stepmother. Such a handsome uncle, when he becomes a stepmother without pain. Moreover, this man is so handsome, and his son should not be far behind. Facing two handsome guys every day. Ah! I will be extremely happy. Li Yufei covered her face with both hands and made a shy expression. Do you think his son's mother can allow you, the stepmother, to come in? Oh my, you want to be a mistress. Who wants to be a mistress? You're right, but why are they all wearing hanfu? Aren't they ethnic minorities? Shouldn't they wear ethnic costumes? Are the people here so trendy? I don't know, this should be their ethnic costume. Let's ask first. The two of them murmured for a while, and the person across from them was not in a hurry. They looked up and down at the two people in strange clothes in front of them. What kind of person are you? Who are you? Li Yufei and the person who came spoke at the same time. Bold. The person behind the middle-aged man quickly stepped forward. The middle-aged man raised his hand and the person retreated back. Oh. I see, you're the village chief, right? Qi Nanyou looked at the two of them and guessed a bit in his heart. Looking at the middle-aged man in front of me with such prestige, it is undoubtedly the village chief. Village chief. The middle-aged man was somewhat puzzled. You're not the village chief. Isn't this Lao-Mo village? Looking at the middle-aged man with a puzzled expression on his face, it seemed that he didn't know they were coming over. What's going on? They're not from Lao-Mo village. Don't worry, I'll call and ask. Qi Nanyou was also a bit confused. Usually, she spends all her energy on medicine, and she never thinks about worldly affairs. So this time the hospital arranged for her to go to Laomozai, and she didn't ask much. She felt that everything was the same, just searched for information online on her own. Qi Nanyou pressed the phone number of the township head. At that time, the township head said that there were not many people using the phone in Laomozai, and the signal was not very good. He was afraid that he would not be able to contact the village head in time, so he instructed the small bus driver to take them to Laomozai. But there were other people in the small bus driver's car, so let the two of them get up on their own, thinking that there was only one way, so there shouldn't be a mistake. The middle-aged man looked at Qi Nanyou and pulled out another rectangular object. His eyes lit up and he stared intently, wanting to see what it was for. The phone didn't respond for a long time. Upon closer inspection, Qi Nanyou noticed that the signal positions were all blank, which reminded him that there was no signal in this area. No signal. The signal here is too poor. Qi Nanyou reluctantly put down her phone, and Li Yufei also took out her own phone, opened the interface, and jumped up and down with it, trying for a while. I don't have either. After thinking for a moment, she quickly climbed up the big tree next to her, trying to climb higher to find the signal. Two girls, but what problem did you encounter? Lonely. We can help. The middle-aged man frowned slightly as he looked at the woman jumping up and down like a monkey in front of him. Women should not be polite and generous, should they? The woman in front of me is somewhat special. Hello. I am the doctor from Lamaozai who was sent from above. She is here to support teaching. My name is Qi Nanyou and she is Li Yufei. May I ask if this is Lamaozai? Qi Nanyou didn't pick up the signal, he opened his mouth under his nose, so he could still ask. Supporting doctors. Supporting teaching. The middle-aged man was a bit confused. He couldn't understand what the girl was saying, but in order not to arouse suspicion, he only grabbed two key pieces of information. She is a doctor who comes here to help local people seek medical treatment. She is here to teach children how to learn. Qi Nanyou realized that her vocabulary was somewhat professional. After all, supporting doctors and teaching had only flourished in recent years, so she quickly spoke up and explained. It's Mr. Lang Zhonghe. Middle-aged men may not know what a doctor is, but helping others see a doctor is not just being a doctor. Isn't it the teacher who teaches children to learn? However, these two people are women, and women rarely show up to make money. These two strangely dressed women have too many secrets on them, and the key is that he is very interested in what they have in their hands. Yes, we are Mr. Lang Zhonghe who is here to help Lao Mo village. Is this Lao Mo village? Qi Nanyou is a bit unresponsive. What doctor? What sir? What an ancient title. It seems that this place is not ordinary backwardness. Forget about the poor signal on your phone, still using such an ancient name. I don't understand, but she respects. Yes, this is Laomozai. I am the village chief of Laomozai. The middle-aged man's eyes rolled and he immediately had an idea. Strange language, strange clothing, magical rectangles, strange boxes, and even appearing out of thin air from a secret place first, stabilize them and explore their intentions. Perhaps you can get what you want through them. Oh, hello, village chief. My name is Qi Nanyou, please give me more guidance next. Upon hearing that he was the village chief, Qi Nanyou's tense nerves suddenly relaxed and finally arrived, reaching out his hand to shake hands with the village chief. The person across from her didn't move and didn't know what she was going to do. Is it asking them to pull her hand? But she is a woman, and there is no marriage between men and women. If you hold her hand, you will have to marry her. Qi Nanyou waited for a while, but when she saw no one shaking hands with her, she felt a bit embarrassed and angrily withdrew her hand. The person behind the man was lost in thought, wondering where the seductive and despicable person came from, and whether the enemy had sent him to deceive His Majesty. Knowing that Your Majesty does not like women, he found two foreign women to seduce His Majesty. Just as he was about to step forward and stop him, he was stopped by a middle-aged man raising his hand. Where did the girl come from? The middle-aged man did not act rashly. Although he did not know what the woman was reaching out for and did not dare to act rashly, he still had to ask clearly what was to be asked. Qi Nanyou didn't care about what happened earlier. She thought of what was said online. Some tribes don't have the etiquette of shaking hands, and some tribes can't have physical contact with women other than their wives. She also felt that she was rude. We both come from S province. Where is S province? Except for Qi Nanyou and Li Yufei, everyone present looked at each other in confusion. They had never heard of S province before. Now that the world is unified, where else is S province? Are they from outside the region? What? You don't even know S province. Chapter 6. Not understanding, but respecting. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Li Yufei's voice interrupted everyone's thoughts. She searched for a long time but couldn't find the signal, and walked over in a daze. Leng Buting heard such a sentence, these people don't even know about S province. Is there no internet in that village? How can she survive? Have you never watched TV? S province is so famous that you haven't even heard of it. How backward your place is. Before Li Yufei could finish speaking, she was manually turned off by Qi Nanyou. It was impolite to say that others were poor in front of her. They still have to stay here for 3 years. If they offend the village chief, their future will be difficult. Village chief, don't mind. My friend is not targeting you, she just received some stimulation and spoke recklessly. Let's go back to the village first. Qi Nanyou covered Li Yufei's mouth and awkwardly smiled at the middle-aged man. No problem, Miss Qi, this is Laomozai. Let me first familiarize you with the surrounding environment of the village. The village is preparing to welcome you at a banquet, which is very bloody. I will take you inside later. The middle-aged man smiled and made a gesture of invitation, then turned to the man behind him and said, Li Si, go tell the villagers to hurry up. No. The man had not yet recovered from the smile of the middle-aged man and did not react for a moment. Seeing the man's gaze, he quickly bowed and turned around to leave. This is a royal forbidden area. Where is the Lao Mo village? But if your majesty says there is, then there must be. Li Si quickly took a few people to arrange it. However, your majesty, don't laugh again next time. It's too scary. Yes, the leading middle-aged man was not a village chief, but the founding emperor of the unified 6 states. Ingzheng. They followed His Majesty out today for a private visit in their humble attire to observe the people's situation. After that, they decided to come and inspect the forbidden area. As a result, the guards guarding the forbidden area reported that 2 women wearing strange clothes appeared in the dead cave to the east of the forbidden area, appearing inexplicably at the entrance of the cave as if they had appeared out of thin air. Ingzheng thought it was a remnant of the 6 kingdoms and knew that he had come here to plot an assassination. I had planned to order the arrest and torture of confessions, but upon second thought, being able to enter the royal forbidden area surrounded by the imperial guard would be very capable, perhaps a rare talent. So, Ingzheng led Li Si and others, as well as dozens of black armored soldiers, and rushed towards the cave. They did not appear rashly. He let the black armor hide in the forest and silently surrounded the 2 of them. They saw 2 women with disheveled hair, wearing strange clothes, and a few things resembling boxes beside them. Many of the colors on their bodies were unprecedented to Qin, especially their legs, which were exposed and the shape of their legs could be clearly seen. Where did the woman come from? So frivolous, even if the legs are wrapped in unknown fabric, it's really inappropriate. I thought this was enough to be unconventional, but next, they saw one of the women take out a small, long, square box and face the other woman. And the woman posed in various postures, as if someone had tapped her acupoint. With each press of the small box by the person holding it, the woman who posed seemed to have her acupoint unlocked and began to pose again. Their martial arts are so impressive, they can even point acupoints through the air. They are indeed assassins. If it weren't for Li Si's questioning, they would continue to watch, although they don't understand, they respect. I didn't expect the woman to be angry, which made them, the group of high-ranking officials, very uncomfortable. The people who can appear here are either rich or noble. Surprisingly, these 2 people don't even know each other. Is there such a foolish assassin in the world? But your majesty doesn't seem to have any intention of killing them, pretending to be some village chief. Sigh. The heart of an emperor, the needle of the sea. Village chief, no need. Just let the villagers do whatever they want. With so much luggage, it's not convenient for us to stroll around. Let's go back and pack our things, and then get to know the village better. Qi Nanyou let go of Li Yufei and pointed to the 4 suitcases and large backpacks on the ground. They climbed the mountain road for so long, half dead tired, and now she only wants to go back to the village to sleep. No problem, I'll have the other villagers take your luggage back. I'll take you for a walk first. And I noticed that you used that thing just now. Here. Here. You can continue. Yingzheng really didn't know what the two of them were doing just now, but it was definitely not appropriate to enter the village at this time, as the people in the village were not ready yet. Are you taking photos? Village chief, are there any beautiful places nearby? Let's take photos. Let's take photos. Before Qi Nanyou could speak, Li Yufei became excited. Her photos on her social media have stabilized. Take more photos, go to the village and choose carefully, and then pee a little more. She wants to impress everyone. Qi Nanyou helps his forehead, sometimes it's really embarrassing. I really want to sever ties with her. Village chief, please. Qi Nanyou pushed her luggage forward. At this moment, she didn't care much, she was too tired. 2 girls come with me. Yingzheng gave a glance and immediately a few people approached, picked up their luggage, and left directly. Qi Nanyou and Li Yufei followed Yingzheng on a rugged mountain road, only to realize that there was not even a decent road here, and it was really too poor. Village chief, the scenery here is so beautiful. You can take more photos and post them online, so that many people will come here to play and you will have a large economic income. What is tourism? Yingzheng is a bit confused. It's about spending all the hard-earned money you've earned by going from where you're tired of living to where others are tired of living. As soon as Qi Nanyou spoke, Li Yufei answered ahead of her. This was a joke she saw online, which had never been useful and was finally used today. Don't talk nonsense. Qi Nanyou patted Li Yufei, who was discussing the development plan of the village with the village chief and causing trouble. Tourism is about attracting others to come and play here, and they will spend money here. You treat them to eat, dress, play, and have fun, and their income is quite considerable. Why do others come here to play? We don't have anything special here, how could we spend money in this place? Yingzheng was somewhat cautious. Did they know that this was a royal forbidden area and wanted to attract the remnants of the 6 kingdoms to come and assassinate Gu? Village chief, you should go online more. Nowadays, those city dwellers, who are tired of staying in the city, prefer places with beautiful mountains and rivers. Even if they are far and far away, they are willing. As long as they come, you can open homestays, hotels, restaurants. And make a lot of money. He. Li Yufei interjected and explained, just as she was speaking, she suddenly burst into a malicious smile, which made everyone feel creepy. The woman's laughter was so terrifying. What are you thinking again? Qi Nanyou couldn't bear to look directly at her. I've discovered a big business opportunity. Follow my sister, enjoy delicious food and spicy food, and make a fortune with you. Look at me. Li Yufei walked forward as she spoke. Village chief. Li Yufei ran to Yingzheng's side before anyone could react, reaching out to hug him by the neck as a friendly gesture. She gestured with her hand beside Yingzheng for a while before realizing that she knew his chest, bold. Meng Tian behind Yingzheng was about to draw his sword and prepare to kill the bold woman in front of him. This person dared to tease his majesty. Yingzheng raised his eyelids slightly, and Meng Tian immediately stopped walking. It startled me. Li Yufei immediately withdrew her hand upon hearing the sound and followed the sound. A powerful man caught her eye. Looking at his burly body, Li Yufei shrank her neck. She has a murderous aura, even after learning Sonda for so long, she can still feel a bit of it. For a moment, the atmosphere became somewhat solidified. Village chief, let's look ahead again. My friend is kind-hearted and has no ill intentions. Can you ask your villagers to take back their weapons? Moreover, in a rule of law society, using weapons to harm people will result in imprisonment. Qi Nanyou quickly came out to smooth things out. The people here seem to have special respect for the village chief in front of him, intentionally or unintentionally protecting him. And they actually have weapons. Isn't it not allowed to use weapons with destructive power after the establishment of the People's Republic of China? This place is really too remote. If it angers the villagers, they will find it difficult to retreat completely. Miss, don't panic. Our villager is a bit excited. He always wants to take out his sword to bask in the sun, so don't worry about him. Oh, that's it. Qi Nanyou is a bit skeptical, but every place has its own customs. Although she doesn't understand, she respects them. Uncle, if you have this problem, you should see a psychologist in a timely manner, otherwise it will scare others. As soon as Li Yufei relaxes, she starts to recite fragmented thoughts. No, thank you very much for reminding me, Mississippi. Although Meng Tian couldn't understand what Li Yufei was saying, seeing His Majesty's expression, he could only reluctantly apologize. Speaking of which, he just came back to visit his family. Today, he was called by His Majesty to come and patrol together. He met these two inexplicable women, a grand general, and apologized to a weak woman. It's really embarrassing. No thanks, no thanks. I've never seen such a beautiful tree here before. Come and take a picture of it for me, it's very beautiful. Li Yufei's temperament was carefree, and she didn't even worry about things. She didn't notice a strange big tree, covered in white flowers, densely packed and beautiful. Okay. Qi Nanyou walked down the stairs, took out his phone, unlocked his fingerprint, and turned on the camera to look at Li Yufei. Okay, raise your head. Close your eyes. Okay. Take another picture. Yes, your expression is very good. Qi Nanyou looked at his phone, adjusted his angle, prepared for a panoramic view, and involuntarily retreated. Suddenly bumped into something, turned around, and found the village chief and his group standing behind her, staring straight at her. No, it should be staring at the phone in her hand. Village chief, what are you doing? Looking at her like this, it's strange to be cautious. Miss Qi, what is this? Why is Miss Li inside? Ing Zheng was the first to react, and his most curious thing along the way was this small box, wanting to see how it was used. When he saw the woman in front of him take out the small box, he immediately jumped behind her, and the few people around him were also curious, so they all gathered around and became fascinated. This is a mobile phone. Village chief, don't you have one? In this era where everyone has a mobile phone, there are people who don't know what a phone is. How do they communicate normally? Watching the people in front of her shake their heads together, Qi Nanyou finally understood why she searched online but couldn't find any information about the local situation. I also understand why no one has ever discovered such beautiful scenery here. Laomozai is really a magical place. Chapter 7. The Great Qin Dynasty has been destroyed for over 2,000 years. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. What kind of chicken is handmade chicken? It looks like it can't be eaten. Meng Tian looked at it for a while, so hard it couldn't be chewed. It doesn't seem like there's anything special about it, how can it be settled? And it's also called hand chicken, it's really amazing. Qi Nanyou's mood at this moment cannot be described in words. How backward is this place? A mobile phone is not used for food, it is used for making phone calls, surfing the internet, taking photos, watching TV. In short, it can be used to do many, many things. Qi Nanyou patiently explained to everyone what a mobile phone is, but when they still couldn't understand, Nanyou prepared to open a web page for them to see, only to realize that there was no internet in this place. Forget it, come step by step. Nanyou put away his phone. Miss Qi, why didn't you say it? I won't be able to explain this clearly for a while, I'll explain it to you later. Nanyou didn't plan on doing anything useless anymore, but changed the question to, how do you usually communicate with family and friends? How do you communicate messages between people? Using people or writing letters? You guys are really simple. Nanyou gave up and didn't want to say anything more. No wonder the township head said it's difficult to contact people here, she understands. You. Are you ready? Li Yufei's voice came in. Li Yufei has been kissing a flower for a long time, but she didn't hear Nanyou shouting okay. Her mouth is sore, and this kind of flower looks good, it doesn't smell good at all. Oh, okay. Hurry up and get down. Nanyou casually took a few photos and asked Li Yufei to hurry down from the tree. Yes, this woman ran up a tree to take a beautiful and fresh photo with a fairy-like aura. I still need to take photos. Take a few more pictures for me. Climbing trees is very hard. Miss Qi, can you tell us more about this phone? It's very important to us. Yingzheng saw that the two of them had started their own business again and was a bit anxious, although he couldn't understand what this phone could do. But judging from what Nanyou just showed, this phone definitely doesn't belong to the Great Qin, nor does it belong to all the countries he knows. There is such a magical thing in the world that does not belong to the Great Qin, which means that there are still countries outside of the Great Qin, which he absolutely does not allow. Well. Okay. Wait a moment. Nanyou looked at the village chief in such a hurry and stopped taking photos. Since the village chief wanted to know, she would say more. You come and help me. Nanyou pointed to someone and, under the puzzled gaze of everyone, she walked up to the man who was all black and handed him his phone. The black armored soldier who was named was initially a bit confused. He was the commander of the black armored flag and was usually responsible for protecting the safety of Yingzheng. He let the other black armored soldiers hide behind him, leaving him alone to follow behind Yingzheng and protect the safety of the emperor. Faced with two inexplicable women appearing, he didn't personally protect them and felt uneasy. Just now, when Miss Qi showed off her phone, he also saw it and was shocked by the magic of the phone. But now this magical object is handed to him, which excites him so much. This is something that even His Majesty has never touched before, and it should be handed over to him. No. The man in black took the phone with both hands, and his hand, which had never shaken before when holding a sword, trembled slightly at this moment. Wait, Your Majesty, what kind of gaze is that? Is that asking me to give him my phone? What should we do? How about pretending not to see it? Will this be executed by the 9 clans? No, I'm alone, where did the 9 clans come from? No matter what, I didn't see it. What's wrong? Your hands are trembling. Nanyou looked at the man in front of him, not understanding what his hand was shaking. Miss Qi, how could you give him your phone? It's so precious, what if he breaks it? What can I do for you, Gu? I can help you. Yingzheng blinked for a while, but did not hear Li Qi's refusal. He knew it was intentional. I was a bit anxious and reached out to get my phone. Damn it, I didn't have any vision and didn't even offer the artifact. The first time you receive such a divine artifact, don't give it to me. I will chop him off. However, when it comes to looking at people's faces, it has to be Zhao Gao. If I had known earlier, I would have brought Zhao Gao out. Village Chief, I would like to ask your villagers to take photos of Feifei. I need to discuss other things with you. Miss Qi, then let me do it. How can I take good photos of Li Qi like that? Meng Tian was also curious about this thing, and he also wanted to get started and play with it. How could such a good thing be cheaper than that stinky kid Li Qi? It's okay, let him come. We have more important things to discuss. Without hesitation, Qi Nanyou refused. With a group of more than 10 people, why did she choose the man in black in front of her? It was simply because he was all black and covered his face with a black veil. Even if Li Yufei is not satisfied with the quality of the photos, she cannot find who took the photos for her. When it comes to changing clothes and removing masks, Li Yufei can't even find someone to settle accounts with. Oh. Meng Tian retreated behind Ying Zheng with some disappointment, and Qi Nanyou seemed to see a lost big wolf dog, his ears drooping instantly. She knows this is not right, but she just has this feeling. Look, open this icon and the interface will appear. Hold your phone up and aim at the person, then press the big circle in the middle. Qi Nanyou commanded while adjusting Li Qi's photography posture. Alright. Qi Nanyou opened it and saw that the photo was a bit blurry, so he decisively pressed the delete button. Don't shake, the picture becomes blurry with just one shake. Let's do it again. Okay, Qi Nanyou flipped through it and it was pretty good. That's it, you go take photos of Feifei. Qi Nanyou sent Li Qi away, then turned around and saw a group of people surrounding them again, quickly retreating. Village chief, what are you doing? Miss Qi, the photos taken with this phone look like paintings, just like real people inside. Let's put this question aside for now. Qi Nanyou didn't want to discuss this issue. Why were people inside? To be honest, she didn't know. She wasn't making phones, so how could she know so much? Village chief, I took a look and found that Laomozai is too poor. The best way to change this situation is to build roads. The saying goes, if you want to be rich, build roads first. Only by building roads well can others be willing to come to our place for tourism. Another is to develop education. No matter how poor you are, you cannot be poor in education, and no matter how hard you are, you cannot be bitter in children. When we go to the village, we can first find some people to shoot short videos, then post them online for promotion, and first promote our reputation. Qi Nanyou pointed to the distant mountains and beautiful scenery, and began to explain the methods she could currently think of. She really wanted to help these simple villagers, not even knowing her phone, which was quite pitiful. She spoke very easily, but the listener couldn't understand. Miss Qi, what you said? We don't understand. This is what Meng Tian said. Ying Zheng cannot say this, and other civil officials cannot say it. It can only be said by himself, a military general. After all, it is not embarrassing to say something wrong. Qi Nanyou seemed to be choked by his neck, and his voice suddenly stopped. In an instant, an awkward atmosphere filled the scene. Looking at the laughing crowd in front of him, Qi Nanyou couldn't be harsh either. Forget it, she's too anxious. Anyway, she's here to support a doctor and will stay here for 3 years. Let's take it slow. Hurry up, take a picture of me here too. Li Yufei's voice broke this awkward situation. Everyone looked over and saw her jumping up and down to find a spot to take a photo. I'm too anxious, let's take it slow. Qi Nanyou withdrew his gaze and didn't say anything more. Miss Qi, there's no need to blame herself. It's us who are too ignorant. Ying Zheng knew they were anxious, and today they had accepted too many new things, which he couldn't slow down for a while. Girl, by the way, which country are you from? At this point, Ying Zheng can confirm that these two girls do not belong to the Great Qin, do not belong to the 6 kingdoms, or even here. They come from a country they have never seen or heard of. This time, Nanyou feels that his brain capacity is not enough. Which country is he from? Isn't it so obvious? Isn't that obvious? I have black hair, black eyes, and yellow skin. Like you, I am a descendant of the Chinese people and belong to the People's Republic of China. Thinking that some Southeast Asians also have the same appearance, Qi Nanyou added, "We all speak Chinese, we are all Chinese. The descendants of Yan and Huang. Chinese people. Yan and Huang know that it is Emperor Yan and Emperor Huang. What country is China? The country in the middle. Is it far from Daqin? Miss Qi, is China far from Daqin? Where is it from Daqin?" Ing Zhang's eyes suddenly lit up. With such a country possessing magical treasures, it was a bit dangerous for Daqin to not be able to control such a country in his own hands. Miss Qi said that they are all descendants of the Yan and Huang dynasties, Chinese, which means that China belongs to the Great Qin Dynasty. Daqin, what Daqin? Daqin has been destroyed for over 2,000 years. Li Yufei didn't know where to come from and hugged Qi Nanyou's shoulder. Just as she heard this sentence, she casually replied. "What? Bold bastard, who told you?" A dozen or so people around were roaring incessantly, and even a few had begun to draw their swords. Li Yufei was startled and reflexively jumped in front of Qi Nanyou, then came again. "Say it again." Ing Zheng shook his body and couldn't stand still. Li Qi immediately flashed behind Ing Zheng, wanting to help. Ing Zheng waved his hand, and Li Qi retreated back. "Miss Li, do you have any evidence that the Great Qin Dynasty was destroyed for more than 2,000 years? The Great Qin had just unified the 6 states, and originally thought it could last for eternity, but it has already been destroyed for more than 2,000 years. Village chief, could you first tell me why you pay so much attention to the affairs of Daqin? Your actions will scare my friends." Qi Nanyou protected Li Yufei, feeling somewhat cautious. Ing Zheng looked at the guarded girl in his eyes, then at the fierce crowd. With a wave of his hand, everyone reluctantly withdrew their swords. "Miss, don't mind. They worship the Great Qin more. I heard that the Great Qin was destroyed, so I can't accept it." Ing Zheng showed a relatively friendly smile and couldn't make the 2 little girls suspicious, otherwise they might not receive any useful information. "It's like this. Village chief, the Great Qin Dynasty has indeed been destroyed for over 2,000 years. Have no one ever left your Laomozai village? Now the 74th anniversary of the founding of New China has passed." Qi Nanyou secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he only worshipped the Great Qin. They were so excited that those who didn't know thought they were from the Great Qin. If it weren't for her taking the car all the way and enduring countless hardships to climb here, Qi Nanyou would have thought they had crossed over. Words have no basis, how can you prove that the Great Qin has been destroyed? Meng Tian endured it again and again, unable to resist any longer. Ignoring His Majesty's presence, he began to question Qi Nanyou. How could it be that his Great Qin, which his whole family swore to protect, was destroyed like this? The Great Qin just unified the 6 states and did not last for eternity, but rather perished. Proof, how does this need to be proven? The downfall of the Qin dynasty, all those who have studied know, but you don't know. Li Yufei looked at the middle-aged uncle in front of her with red eyes, not understanding why he was so excited. It is an undeniable fact that the Qin dynasty was long extinct. Everyone present was stunned. Qi Nanyou pulled Li Yufei over. This place is so poor, how could it be possible to have read a book? Isn't this exposing people's scars? The Great Qin was destroyed. How could this be possible? A voice came and broke the tense atmosphere, followed by a burst of crying male voices. Chapter 8. Entering the Village. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The person who came was Li Si, who went to build the village. He mobilized all the nearby forbidden forces to manage the Laomozai, and was about to report to Emperor Shi when he heard the explosive news of the downfall of the Great Qin. How could he not be shocked by this? He finally climbed to this position. His Majesty respects and values legalism. Finally, it reached below 1 person and above 10,000 people, but surprisingly, the Great Qin had already perished. Miss, who did you say was the Emperor of Daqin? Where is the capital? Li Si's face turned pale, but he still didn't give up. Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng. The capital seems to be Xianyang. I said, Uncle, why are you crying? What is the relationship between the downfall of Qin and you? Li Yufei couldn't bear to see a middle-aged uncle, with a runny nose and tears streaming down her face. What? Li Si stumbled a few steps, supported the tree next to him, and slowly sat down, his eyes slightly glazed. For a moment, the crowd fell into silence, and no one spoke. At first hearing his name, Yingzheng felt numb all over, as if he had lost consciousness. Shocked, angry, unwilling, and calm, he understood Lise but could not become Lise. Li Si can cry, everyone in the world can cry, he cannot cry because he is an emperor. Yeah. This is their Great Qin, which was forged with the blood of countless Qin people. It finally unified the 6 states and stabilized the world. It did not last for eternity, but was destroyed early on. Who wouldn't be heartbroken? Alas, the Zhou dynasty lasted for 800 years, and it was indeed not easy for the Great Qin to extend for eternity. Li Si, it's okay. The Zhou dynasty only lasted for 800 years, so don't force anything. Yingzheng waved his hand, and Li Si calmed down. He wiped away the tears from the corners of his eyes, stood up from the ground, and returned to the calm and composed Prime Minister Li. Miss Li, you said that the Great Qin was destroyed. How can you prove what you said? Meng Tian was unwilling. He was a general and didn't have so many twists and turns inside. It's better not to talk nonsense about these 2 women, otherwise even if they risk killing their heads, I will still cut them off by cursing Daqin. Brother, you have been trying to prove that we didn't actually lie to you. Daqin has really been destroyed. Qi Nanyou took out his phone, opened the photo album, and held it up in front of everyone. This is the terracotta warriors we shot last time in Xi'an, and this is the burial pit of the first emperor of Qin. The people here have no education and are very persistent about the affairs of the Great Qin. If they don't see evidence, they won't give up easily. Looking at the pictures flipped through their phones, everyone's faces looked very ugly. They had all seen these figurines before, but they had not yet colored them. Although the production of human figurines may not be considered top secret, very few people know about that bronze vehicle. Did they come from over 2,000 years later? A sudden idea came to Yingzheng's mind. They said that the Great Qin had been destroyed for over 2,000 years, but this is the Great Qin. How could it be destroyed? And their clothing, their phones, and that magical box. Everything reminded him that they did not belong to the Qin dynasty, and even did not belong to this era. Meng Tian looked at the photo and almost couldn't stand, it turned out to be true. Village chief, what's wrong with him? Qi Nanyou looked at the expressions on everyone's faces, as if they had pierced through something extraordinary. Don't worry, his legs are weak and he can't stand. Yingzheng looked at the woman in front of him and seemed unaware that calling the emperor's name was a crime. Your Majesty. Village chief, the food is ready. Please go to the village with the 2 girls for a meal. Li Sishi came out to mediate, as a qualified prime minister, he knew when Your Majesty needed to step down. Let's go. 2 girls, please. Yingzheng stepped forward and extended his right hand, making a gesture of invitation, letting the 2 of them walk ahead. I'm eating. I'm starving to death. Li Yufei excitedly pulled Qi Nanyou forward. After shaking off the crowd for a few tens of meters, she casually looked back and made sure that the people behind couldn't hear their voices. Her footsteps slowed down. You, do you think this place is very strange? They all speak in a gentle and elegant manner, still wearing hanfu, holding swords and knives in their hands, not knowing their phones, and kneeling back and forth frequently. If it weren't for us walking by ourselves, and there was no abnormality along the way, I would have thought we had traveled through time. You read fewer novels, it's already the 21st century, where did you get to travel? Qi Nanyou reached out and poked Li Yufei's head, trying to push out the waste from her mind. Isn't it all like this in TV dramas? Wearing ancient clothes and speaking in a gentle and refined manner, it's not just about filming, it's about time travel. Li Yufei became even more excited. If she could travel, it would be really cool. I don't think so. Before coming here, I searched a lot of information online. There are some primitive tribes, and the village leader is their highest leader. They have to listen to the village leader for everything, similar to ancient emperors. The villagers with higher status in the village have their own responsibilities, equivalent to former ministers. Laomozai should be like this. It is relatively backward here, and the village head is like an emperor. There is no law here, and the village head is absolute authority. Before coming, Qi Nanyou had done a strategy and consulted a lot of information, so he had already prepared mentally. So I wasn't too shocked by the scene before me. Ah! If it could really cross, that would be great. Li Yufei looked like a deflated ball in an instant, drooping her head. She really wanted to have a journey through time. At this moment, the following few people. Your Majesty. What do the beloved ministers think? Your Majesty, the origin of these two girls is a mystery, and they are all talking nonsense. How does your Majesty plan to deal with them? Li Si valued the law, and the two women called out your Majesty's name and even said words of rebellion, no punishment, no punishment. Your Majesty, perhaps they were sent by the remnants of the 6 kingdoms to assassinate your Majesty. The words just now were just their conspiracies and schemes. Meng Tian was a bit skeptical. After all, a woman who appeared inexplicably claimed that the Great Qin had already been destroyed, and only the remnants of the 6 kingdoms would say so. His Majesty's safety must not be compromised, and he has to speculate on everyone with the utmost malice. Li Qi, come and talk about it. Yingzheng did not rush to draw a conclusion, but called Li Qi. After all, only he has had contact with that magical phone, and he has the most say. Your Majesty, Wei Chen believes that these two women should come from a country we have never known before. When the black armored warriors reported that they had never seen anyone go in, but the two women came out of a secret cave, but the cave was clearly a dead cave. Wei Chen sent 50 people to explore inside, but it was only 100 meters away, and there was no secret way inside. The two women seemed to appear out of nowhere. As the commander of the black armored army, Li Qi paused to eliminate all possible dangers around His Majesty, and that mobile phone is really a magical thing, it can draw a picture of people immediately, and it is also true. The person is exactly the same. Just now, Wei Chen accidentally slipped and clicked a red circle, and found that it could record the picture. Record the scene, how could this be? Before Li Qi could finish speaking, Meng Tian didn't believe it and immediately interrupted Li Qi. Yingzheng raised his hand and Meng Tian immediately fell silent. The crowd followed His Majesty's gaze and looked at the two girls in front, but they didn't hear either. They breathed a great sigh of relief. But everyone knows better that something that can record images plays a crucial role in military intelligence transmission, political landscape, and assassination investigations. They have actually seen such a thing, and if it can be developed, the world will have to be redefined. Are you sure? It's not that Yingzheng doesn't believe it, it's indeed a good thing. Being able to record the footage is the biggest help for the Qin. I dare not deceive your Majesty. When Miss Qi was teaching me how to take photos, I saw that she would click on a small box under her phone to remove the bad pictures. After accidentally clicking on it, I clicked on the small box again and prepared to delete the pictures inside. The first one inside was a painting with a triangle. I curiously clicked on it, and the scene of Miss Li posing just now appeared inside. Li Qi, as a royal guard, learned things much faster than others, and he was really looking forward to that thing called a phone. This intelligence is too important, and everyone didn't know what to say for a moment. Li Si, among the various schools of thought that you are familiar with, does anyone have the ability to create such exquisite and magical things? Yingzheng turned his gaze to Li Si, who, as the Prime Minister of the Great Qin, was well versed in the affairs of the Six Kingdoms. Your Majesty, I have never heard of it before. Among the 100 schools of thought, the Mahist and Gongshu schools are the best at mechanism techniques. However, most of their mechanism objects are made of stone or wood. I just looked at the objects in Miss Chi's hand and couldn't see any materials, as if they had never appeared before. Li Si thought of something and paused slightly. And they actually have pictures of human figurines. Your Majesty, is it possible that the two of them come from beyond heaven? Li Si knew that His Majesty did not believe in ghosts and gods, but what appeared before him made people doubt that the two of them came from another country, a country they had never heard of before. Have you ever thought that they come from the future? Yingzheng pondered for a moment and said an answer that no one expected. He had already guessed that these two women might come from the future, or perhaps the immortals were moved by their sincerity and sent two goddesses to protect the Qin. If used properly, such people may change the fate of the downfall of the Great Qin Dynasty, extend for eternity, and there is also a possibility of world unity. Perhaps he could also ask the goddess for an elixir of immortality. As long as he can achieve immortality, he has confidence in allowing the Great Qin to continue for eternity. The future. This is impossible. Meng Tian didn't believe it. As soon as he spoke, he realized that he had refuted His Majesty and quickly shut up. The future. It's also possible. Perhaps, they really come from the future, they are our descendants. Li Qi said his guess. That's their descendant. How could they not have thought of such a possibility? Yeah. According to these two women, they could really be their own descendants. Upon thinking about this, everyone immediately turned to Li Si. At this moment, Li Si no longer showed any signs of decadence, with a big smile on his face and smooth teeth, disregarding the demeanor of a gentleman. Li Si, what are you proud of? Meng Tian couldn't bear to watch anymore. My surname is Li, and that girl's surname is also Li. Li Si touched the goat's beard, looked up and straightened his chest, and looked ahead. I feel like hitting someone. Meng Tian, pass the order to mobilize 30,000 forbidden troops, surround the royal forbidden area, and protect the two goddesses. Remember, without the permission of the orphan, no one is allowed to approach the forbidden area. Anyone who violates the order will be executed immediately. No, the three barbarians. Yingzheng ignored everyone's argument and immediately ordered that regardless of whether they were goddesses or not, they should be protected first. Li Si, make everyone in the village shut their mouths and not reveal to the goddess that this is Daqin, this is Laoimo village, and I am the village chief. Today, anyone who hears about the downfall of Daqin is not allowed to reveal any information to the outside world. Those who violate the order will be punished by the 9 clans. No. 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 Your Majesty, since the two goddesses know about the future, why not tell them the truth directly and let them protect Qin? Li Si put away his pride and arched his hand. They have put in too much effort for the Great Qin, and now some people can know the future, which is equivalent to having 1,000,000 strong soldiers. I have solitary concerns. If the goddess finds out that this is Daqin, not the place they were originally going to, she will try her best to leave, which will not be worth the loss. Tell them this is Daqin, and Yingzheng never thought about it, but the goddess said she wants to go to Laomozai to see a doctor and teach. There is no Laomozai in Daqin. If the goddess insists on going, they will try their best to go back. Your Majesty is wise. Chapter 9. The old ancestor Tao Yuanming sincerely will not bully me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. We're here. Li Yufei felt an urge to cry as she looked at the small village that appeared before her. Along the way, it was almost time to catch up with the western heaven to gather scriptures. Qi Nanyou looked at the village in front of him, as if it were a paradise. The entire village is built along the mountain, with thatched houses scattered among the green onion trees. Behind the mountain, there is a pink ocean, whether it is peach blossoms or cherry blossoms. The grass is fresh and beautiful, and the fallen petals are colorful. Neat green bamboo trees are planted along the small paths, and there are busy villagers on the paths entering the village. Walking less than 200 meters, an elegant tower appeared in front of everyone. Looking at the towering tower in front of them, the two of them were a bit stunned. Didn't they say that Lao Mo village was very poor? How could there be such an exquisite house? The whole village's money wouldn't have been used to build this house, would it? Qi Nanyou knew that some local governments would borrow a large amount of funds to build a face-saving project in order to save face. The more remote and impoverished the place, the more popular it became. He never expected such a small village to do the same. Village chief, this house looks quite unique. Qi Nanyou didn't know what to say, so he couldn't say they love face and ignore the lives of the villagers. The villagers live in thatched houses, but there is a luxurious large house in the village. Village chief, the face-saving project is not worth it. Li Yufei raised her hand and patted Ying Zheng's shoulder. This old man is not for the sake of saving face. Is this village so poor? Miss, this is the village chief's house. The two girls, please come in. Although Li Si couldn't understand what a face-saving project was, judging from their expressions, it shouldn't be a good thing. This secret place is actually a palace of Yingzheng outside Xianyang city. The palace is not large, and Yingzheng only occasionally comes to stay for a day. He usually doesn't come over. The thatched houses next to them were just temporarily built to better fit the old Majai. Oh. The village chief's house. The two of them looked at each other with a smile and let out a strange sound, as expected. Li Si is puzzled. Why does it feel like the drawing is getting darker and darker? In the future, the two girls will live here. If there is anything you can arrange for Li Si to do, let's have dinner first. Of course, Yingzheng knew why the two girls were like this. He probably thought he was a greedy village chief, and this kind of thing is currently difficult to explain. Village chief, this is your home. It's not suitable for us to live in your home, is it? Qi Nanyou is a person who doesn't like to trouble others. Living in someone else's house, he always feels not very free, and others may also feel uncomfortable. Miss, don't worry. The village chief is very busy and usually doesn't stay at home. He only comes back occasionally. The two girls can rest assured. Li Si understood Your Majesty's intention and immediately spoke in agreement. Village chief, is there so much to do in your small village? Li Yufei carefully examined the surrounding environment. This place was really nice. Miss, I don't know. Our village is really poor, and the village chief can only go out frequently to find opportunities to make money and make life in the village better. Li Si was not at all panicked. When His Majesty said this was Lao Mo's village, he was already fully prepared. Li Si is truly Li Si. If it weren't for their group of people knowing the truth, they would have thought Your Majesty was really the village chief. Meng Tian now admires Li Si's ability to talk nonsense, which is truly a joke. Old Meng will never learn in his lifetime. Village chief, the meal is ready. Please take your seat. Village chief, then let's go eat first. Let's chat while eating. Qi Nanyou was worried that Li Yufei's rectum would say something offensive again, so she pulled her and followed the newcomers to the dining room. Passing through the corridor, the group arrived at the second floor. The entire tower is built along the mountain, and on the left is the place they just passed by, with green forests and lush bamboo, and winding paths for transportation. Outside the village is a small hill covered in wild flowers. On the right is a lake, with the sunset setting in the west. The entire lake's surface is sparkling and dazzling, with several winding corridors on the surface, like long snakes. You, have we arrived at some vacation resort? Such a beautiful scenery. If I die in the future, you must bury me here. Before Li Yufei could finish sighing, she suddenly grabbed Qi Nanyou's hand with a firm gaze. Miss Qi, Miss Li, why not? It's nothing, village chief. Let's have a meal first. While eating, let's talk about our future work arrangements. A few people arrived at the main hall and looked at the decorations inside. It was really antique and fragrant. Under the guidance of Li Si, Yingzheng sat down, with the two arranged at the front. It was originally where Li Si Mengtian sat, but in front of the two goddesses, Li Si Mengtian dared not take it too far. Village chief, I am a doctor who helps villagers seek medical treatment. Fei Fei is a teacher who is responsible for teaching the children. We will stay in Laomozai for 3 years. Miss Qi, we don't quite understand what you're talking about. However, I will send Lise to follow you. If you need anything, you can instruct him and he will help you. Yingzheng doesn't understand what construction is. What is development? He could only feel that the two girls had no ill intentions. Their wisdom and knowledge will definitely make Daqin better and better. Thinking of this, Yingzheng raised his hand. Lise, you've been following the two girls lately. If they have any needs, please try to satisfy them as much as possible. No, Li Si arched his hand and returned to his original position, although following behind the two women, somewhat insulting the reputation of the first Prime Minister of the Great Qin. However, the things exhibited by the two women, even if they could learn a little bit, were beneficial and harmless to the Qin, and one of them might actually be his descendant. Thank you, village chief. There is a hospital in the village. A health center, Qi Nanyou thought for a moment. Is the village clinic? It's the place for medical treatment. It should be called a clinic in this place. No, our place is quite remote and there is no clinic as the girl mentioned. What do you usually do when you see a doctor? Medical treatment. That should be referring to the imperial physician. I can't say it's looking for an imperial physician. Will this help out? Let's just say no. I want to go far and wide to find a doctor. Watching the girl in front of him not looking well, Yingzheng felt a bit hesitant. As an emperor, no one has ever shown so much emotion in front of him. Of course, no one dares. There's not even a hospital. What about the school? Li Yufei lifted a big chicken leg in her left hand, nibbling on it with oil. There's nothing she can do. She had to rush all day today and climb the mountain for so long. She was already hungry. School. Yingzheng thought for a moment, and combined with Miss Qi, he said that Miss Li came to teach and should be from the academy. There are relatively few children in the village. None, Yingzheng thought for a moment and added, we need to send them to a faraway village to study. If it is confirmed that these two women come from over 2,000 years later, he wants to send his sons over to study. After all, he knows more and only benefits Daqin. Yingzheng didn't know if women could teach, as most of what women learned was standard etiquette, which seemed unsuitable for teaching the way of governing the country. He doesn't ask much. Let's take a look again. Even if you cannot learn the theory of governing a country, you can still learn about the future. Later, we will also ask them how many years the Great Qin Dynasty lasted, not 10,000 years, but it should have been over 1,000 years, much longer than the Zhou Dynasty. It seems that this mission is very heavy. Village chief, can we ask the villagers to help tidy up 2 houses tomorrow? One will be used as a hospital, and the other will be used for children's learning. Do you think this will work? Sure, let Lise arrange it for you tomorrow. Qi Nanyou looked at the already dark sky outside and felt that it was getting late. It was too late to make arrangements today. Sitting for a long time makes my feet numb. The two of them are not very accustomed to the feeling of kneeling on the ground. They will be staying in this place for 3 years, so it is necessary to understand the local customs. Meng Tian endured the meal for a while, watching the two girls chatting with His Majesty very well. The etiquette of the emperor and his ministers prevented him from interrupting. Your Majesty, it's true. When it comes to the development of a village, the most important thing now is to know how the Great Qin Dynasty was destroyed. When it comes to the academic academy, it is important for the country. Li Si is really not willing to share any burden with His Majesty. It's not easy for His Majesty to ask, you can do it. It seems that it must be me, Lao Meng. Mississippi. Meng Tian's words were interrupted before they could be spoken. The girl's two words got stuck in her throat and she coughed fiercely. He quickly picked up his glass and took a strong sip, so as not to lose his composure in front of the hall. Village Chief, isn't there a table here? Village Chief, why are you kneeling and eating on the ground without a high stool? Li Yufei couldn't sit still, but the food was in front, and this matter could be ignored. She looked at the way you moved around, the low tables on both sides, and then looked at the mats on the ground. She put down the chicken legs in her hand, and Li Yufei asked out her doubts. Suddenly thought of something, Village Chief, you don't know how to worship the sun. Li Yufei exclaimed in surprise. In her impression, only Japanese people like to kneel and eat on the ground. If the people in this place worship Japan, then I'm sorry. Her eldest daughter won't accompany her anymore. She really likes the beautiful scenery here and wants to help these villagers. But if this place promotes Japanese culture, where will she come from? Upon hearing Li Yufei's words, Nanyou initially thought it was nothing, probably because this village was relatively primitive. So she didn't speak. In her impression, only Japan and South Korea would sit on the ground and eat, liking tatami mats. Coincidentally, she didn't like either country. If Japanese and Korean culture prevails in this place, then she won't stay there for long. Chongri. I don't know what this means. Please clarify, Mississippi. A few people looked at the sudden changes in their faces and thought that Chongri might not be a good thing. Afraid of offending the goddess, Li Si looked at Ing Zheng's face and asked with some nervousness. To worship Japan is to worship it. This country is not very friendly to our country. After thinking for a moment, Nanyou decided to make it clear, otherwise it would be easy to speculate. Japan. Miss Chi, what is Japan? Is it a country? Why worship them? Are they very powerful? Ing Zheng finally heard of a new country, Japan. To worship them, it must be a very powerful place. If it could be attributed to the Great Qin, then the Great Qin would be even stronger. Wow! Little Japan is the place I hate the most. During mealtime, not to mention that unlucky thing. As if thinking of something, Li Yufei looked at them and didn't even know where Japan was. She felt like she had overthought it and started to indulge in reckless eating. If you don't like Japan, then it's her friend. Village Chief, how many years has your village been built? Why haven't you even heard of Japan? In theory, as Chinese people, everyone knows about that humiliating history. Just now I saw that you are very concerned about the affairs of Daqin. Does your village have any connection with Daqin? Our village has existed since the Qin Dynasty. According to your account, it should have a history of over 2,000 years. We have never been far away, so we really don't know Japan. Ing Zheng said, what else can we say? Let's continue playing. I can't say this is Daqin, right? Over 2,000 years. Have you never gone out before? This time, Nanyou didn't calm down. Is it so long, over 2,000 years? I looked at their clothes again, and the more they looked, the more they resembled the regulations of the Qin dynasty. No way. No way. Is it really good for her to come to such a village with such a long history? But is there really a village that can exist for over 2,000 years? And why hasn't there been any news for over 2,000 years? She knew that there were tribes in D province that lasted for thousands of years, but she didn't expect them to actually meet them. I'll go, my ancestor Tao Yuanming is not deceiving me. Chapter 10. Qi goes to spitting blood. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. At this moment, Li Yufei stopped eating and 4 words suddenly appeared in her mind. A paradise outside the world. At this moment, they have come here since the Qin Dynasty and have never gone out again. Isn't this the peach blossom spring in Tao Yuanming's writings? We have found the peach blossom spring. Li Yufei jumped to the side of Qi Nanyou, feeling a little excited. A distant memory came to mind in Qi Nanyou's mind, right? The land is flat and spacious, and the houses are dignified. There are good fields, beautiful ponds, and mulberry and bamboo trees, and the transportation through the paths is well known. Among them, there is a variety of activities, and the clothing of men and women is as familiar as that of outsiders. Yellow hair hanging on the edge, and contented. Yeah. Isn't this the paradise depicted by Tao Yuanming? The peach blossom land actually exists, and Qi Nanyou is also a bit excited. Originally, all the descriptions in the Chinese textbooks were true, and there really is a peach blossom spring. Yeah. We're going to stay in this peach blossom land for 3 years. Qi Nanyou was a little happy. She thought about countless outcomes and also thought that this place was very poor, but she never imagined the situation before. It's such a beautiful paradise. Miss Qi, why is Miss Li so excited? Zheng looked at the 2 women in front of him with a happy expression. He didn't know why, but he didn't feel it was impolite for such an unconventional behavior. She realized a small dream and was very excited. Qi Nanyou didn't want to say much, after all, the locals had never read a book. When they told them Tao Yuanming, they couldn't understand, and the more they said, the more wrong they became. Miss Qi, we have been having some doubts today. You said that the Great Qin had been destroyed for over 2,000 years, but how many years did it last? The Zhou dynasty lasted for 800 years, isn't the Great Qin even longer? Qin Shi Huang put down his chopsticks and finally asked the question that all the old Qin people were most concerned about tonight. 800 years. Village chief, you're so funny. The death of Emperor Qin too, where did 800 years come from? Sigh. My charming ancestors. What a pity. Before Qi Nanyou could speak, Li Yufei spoke up first. This place is too backward. No, we need to tell them more about history in the future. Impossible. You're lying. Demonic words deceive people, come here. The people in the hall began to make a noise, and their great Qin Empire, the second emperor, fell. How could it be? They must have been sent by the remnants of the 6 kingdoms to sow discord between the Great Qin. They must be. Zheng raised his arm, and everyone immediately fell silent. The second died. The second died. Pounce. Zheng felt a sweet smell in his throat, and blood spurted out of his mouth. The eternal Qin in his heart, surprisingly, died as the second emperor. Everyone quickly stood up and knelt down in the center of the lobby. Your Majesty. Meng Tian was about to step forward and help Zheng. Zheng's eyes widened, and Meng Tian instantly swallowed the words that came to his mouth. Village chief, do you want to hire a doctor? Li Si raised his head slightly and glanced at Zheng's face. He knows Zheng's temperament and dare not make reckless decisions at this time. As soon as he finished speaking, Qi Nanyou had already run to His Majesty's side and began to inspect Zheng. Bold. Li Si was about to scold, Your Majesty's golden body is something that ordinary people, especially unfamiliar women, can touch. Looking at Zheng's slightly raised eyelids, he lowered his head again. Qi Nanyou looked at the village chief spraying blood and sat straight down on the chair, guessing that he was angry. There are no instruments here, so we can only conduct a preliminary examination for the village chief. She opened the village chief's eyelids, looked at his bloodshot and slightly yellowish eyes, and tried to make the village chief move his hands and feet, but found that the problem was not serious. I'm feeling anxious and my blood pressure is rising. It's not a big problem, Feifei. Take my bag over. Qi Nanyou made a preliminary judgment, and she only needs to take 2 pills to lower blood pressure for this problem. What she cares about now is another issue. Li Yufei brought Qi Nanyou's backpack, and Qi Nanyou dug out medicine from inside, just as she was about to feed the village chief. Miss, no way. Li Si and Meng Tian stood up at the same time and quickly went up to stop. They just watched a woman groping and directing His Majesty to move around, but His Majesty did not kill this person. The 2 of them were not shocked in time. I saw Miss Qi take out a box from that strange bag, and then take out 2 white pieces from the box, and feed them to your Majesty. Damn it, do they really or falsely not know? They dare to give anything to your Majesty to eat. What if it's poison? What's wrong? Qi Nanyou stopped his hand and looked at the crowd surrounding him with some confusion. Miss Qi, this cannot be given to your Majesty. The village chief. Meng Tian quickly took out the 2 white little things from Qi Nanyou's palm. Why? Miss Qi, our village chief has a golden body and is the pillar of the entire village. We cannot eat anything indiscriminately. Li Si glanced at Meng Tian, who was impulsive, and explained. This is medicine, not anything else. Qi Nanyou spread out his hand. Why are these people so nervous? Miss, don't blame me. I've never seen what you're taking out before, that's why they're so nervous. Ying Zheng, who had already regained consciousness, gestured for Meng Tian to take the medicine up and stuffed it into his mouth without even looking. Village Chief. Your Majesty. Village Chief, no way. Everyone quickly spoke up to stop, and Ying Zheng waved his hand. They quickly retreated, but only 1 foot away, closely monitoring Ying Zheng's reaction. If there was anything wrong, they were ready to step forward immediately. It's okay, alone. I believe in Miss Qi. Ying Zheng knew that there was no doubt in the use of people, and there was no need to doubt them. He couldn't let the 2 of them suspect, otherwise the plan would be a complete failure. Village Chief, just now according to Li Si's statement, your diet should be very careful. Qi Nanyou looked at the village chief in front of her. In fact, she was also gambling. This was not the first time she had gone to a remote area to seek medical treatment. She used to go to the countryside with her mentor to provide voluntary medical treatment, and some ordinary people did not believe them and treated them as scammers. Later, they found that as long as they received recognition from local leaders, the villagers would trust them very much. So to carry out work in Laomozai, the first step is to obtain the recognition of the village chief. If the village chief did not take her medicine just now, it will be difficult to do future work. Fortunately, the village chief is willing to believe her, so she is also willing to use what she has learned throughout her life to help the people of this place. Yes, I have a special physique and cannot eat indiscriminately. Ying Zheng couldn't find a reason for it for a while, so he couldn't say that the emperor's diet was specially supervised and tested by someone. It can only be said that one has a special physique, and if one has a special physique, one cannot eat indiscriminately. But village chief, I noticed that your body is not very healthy. Have you been experiencing occasional headaches, dizziness, occasional sleeplessness, feeling tired all the time, and occasional bleeding from your teeth? Qi Nanyou looked at Ying Zheng's teeth and felt even more certain in her heart. Miss Qi, why are you? Ying Zheng's eyes flashed with a hint of surprise. He had all these symptoms, but they were relatively mild. Miss Qi doesn't need to check her pulse when seeking medical treatment. Just look at her eyes and you can tell his condition. It's really impressive. You're poisoned. Without hesitation, Qi Nanyou's thin lips parted slightly and uttered 4 shocking words. Poisoned. Ying Zheng didn't believe it. All of his meals were supervised, and there were also people trying dishes. How could he possibly be poisoned? Miss Qi, What proof do you have? The village chief's food is watched by someone, and he often invites too. The doctor checks the pulse, and no one has found any poisoning. How can you say that the village chief is poisoned? Li Si held down Meng Tian, who was about to go berserk, and asked Qi Nanyou with some rationality. If your majesty is really poisoned, then the people in Xianyang Palace. When the emperor is angry, he will lay 1,000,000 corpses. Your majesty's eyelids are slightly yellowish, your eyeballs are covered in bloodstains, your complexion is slightly weak, and your gums are also slightly swollen. In my experience, it should be heavy metal poisoning. Qi Nanyou calmly expressed his speculation that measuring blood would be more accurate, but the conditions here are too outdated and there are no tools available. The crowd fell silent, and all of Ing Zheng's confidants knew about these symptoms. But the imperial physician only said that your majesty lacks sleep, just rest more. How could it be poisoning? Village chief, this is just my preliminary judgment. It's best for you to go to the city to have a blood test to see which heavy metal it is. All right. Village chief, in a few days, I'll accompany you to the county hospital for examination, early detection and early treatment. Qi Nanyou took off her gloves, collected the scattered medicine, and concluded that there were no advanced medical conditions here, so she dared not act rashly. Your Majesty. Village chief. Meng Tian walked forward with a worried expression on his face, feeling a bit nervous. He arched his hand and prepared to help Ing Zheng, but there was nothing he could do. Zhao Gao did not come out this time, so they had to cross the border. Miss, is the village chief's poison? Very serious. Li Si took a step forward and stared at the woman in front of him with some suspicion. If it's serious, it's quite serious. If it's not serious, it's not serious. Currently, it's the early stage of poisoning. As long as we go out for testing to determine what heavy metal it is, with current scientific technology, the village chief's illness is not a big problem. If it's treated in the village, the speed will be very slow, and without testing, I'm not sure about the cause, nor how the village chief got poisoned. If it continues like this, it's very likely to get poisoned again. Qi Nanyou did not continue. After all, when we met for the first time, saying that someone was poisoned was something that even a person couldn't accept. Li Si was a bit incredulous, his body shook and he almost couldn't stand. Go out for a test. He doesn't even know what laboratory tests and heavy metals are. What Miss Qi said should be the method from over 2,000 years later. What should they do in the more than 2,000-year-old Qin? What will your majesty do? What should the Qin do? Girl. Li Si suddenly knelt down, arched his hands forward, and then crawled to the ground. The village chief cannot leave the village too far and cannot go to County Hospital. Please lend a helping hand, Mississippi. They had no way to go out for a test, and even the imperial physician couldn't handle the illness. They could only rely on the girl in front of them for hope. As long as your majesty is present, the Great Qin will be present. Only with the presence of the Great Qin can the glory of the Li family be safeguarded. Please extend a helping hand, girl. Please extend a helping hand, girl. Please extend a helping hand, girl. Before Qi Nanyou and Li Yufei could react, they watched as the middle-aged man in front of them knelt on the ground with a sad expression on his face. The two of them were eager to go to lollies, but as soon as they approached, everyone around them knelt down together. There were only 3 people standing in the entire lobby, and Li Yufei and Qi Nanyou had a great understanding. They both jumped back together and broke free from the crowd's encirclement. What a sin! Why are they all kneeling suddenly? Such a big gift, how many lives do you want them to lose? What do you want? The two of them hugged each other with a wary expression, looking at the group of people kneeling in front of them. That's right, netizens didn't say, it's the 21st century now, what should you do when others kneel down on you? Someone, take the 2 girls down to rest.